one who gets hit by a bear in the neighborhood. Call Joe Murray.
I happen to trust Joe Murray.
First time I ever met Joe Murray was at a...
Early July and 26. What a night we have for you. It's the Joe Show. No Joe. Joe Show, no go. Sean Sylver here, you there. Monday, July 6, 2026. Could be an historic night. Actually, let's just pause right there. Would you say would be a historic night or an historic night? Because I feel as the longer I go along in life, people are telling me that I need to say an historic. I don't feel like it was that way when I was growing up. How'd we get there? It could be a historic night for United States sports, namely the United States men's soccer team. Now, the women's national team has done this many times before and won the World Cup several times to boot. Kudos to them. But the men's soccer team, not so much. And tonight they have a chance to break into the quarterfinals of a World Cup that they're hosting. For those of you who were around the last time that we had a World Cup in North America in 94, you remember the U.S. got out of the group stage but lost to Brazil. We got more teams now, so this is kind of what, the last round kind of separated the wheat from the chaff. You know, you had all these teams making it to the elimination round or the knockout round, and now we're down to 16 teams, and the U.S. is fighting for the right to be one of 8 left. 8 teams left. Spain earning that right earlier today with a 1-0 victory over Portugal. And not going to go all soccer talk. Obviously, we've got the Boston Red Sox. Little Red Sox news going on. They got a couple of guys on the All-Star team. You might have gripes about guys who are not on the All-Star team. You may not care. I mean, it's the All-Star game, right? But there are a few little things swirling around the Red Sox that are worth talking about. And, of course, the big-ticket item, the Boston Celtics. I was in here for 4 hours with Perillo on Friday afternoon, and we did 4 hours of Jaylen Brown. The trade obviously happened on Wednesday night. By this point, we had a baseball hour with Tony Maz where, basically we cut into the baseball hour to cover that trade. Maz talked to B-Rob during that. We had a night show. We had an entire day and evening of radio on Thursday. We had the morning and midday shows on Friday. And then by the time we got to me and Paul Perillo Friday afternoon, we still had full phone lines talking Jaylen Brown the entire show. So we did. I mean, we came prepared with other things to talk about. It's just smart if you're, doing working in a medium where you have to talk for hours on end to have, multiple topics to talk about. And of course, Skaz and the good folks here at the Joe Show have lined me up with a good number of topics to talk about this evening. But if we have to go Jaylen Brown for a while, we can. I mean, why? Well, in a way, this trade was the inevitable, right? I mean, the Celtics have been wanting to trade Jaylen Brown since when? I remember I wrote a thing for 985thesportshub.com back in 2018 about why the Celtics should not include Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum in a package for LeBron, which was a thing people were talking about, that we need to get LeBron James on the Celtics because he would make them legitimate. Great looking in retrospect on some of the time-wasting stories that we have dealt with in the past here. But, yeah, and then, summers, not one, I'm talking plural, summers of trading Jaylen Brown for Kevin Durant. And, of course, he won a championship with the team here and was able to put that on pause for a little while. And by a little while, I mean less than 2 years after winning it, all of a sudden the rumors are back again. And it wasn't for Giannis. It was for Paul George and a poo-poo platter of picks. A poo-poo platter, ironic because I was in the parking lot of my local Chinese restaurant at the time that the trade news came to me. So, yeah, here we are. Brad Stevens, Celtics, I guess, principal owner, right? Governor of the team, Bill Chisholm, met with the media today. The deal, as you heard Kevin Majore say in his most recent headline, the deal became official today. And, they met the media to address it. Jake Seymour, our very own from 98.5thesportshub.com, was in the building. I heard Jake get up on the mic and ask some questions. I heard B-Rob asking some questions. I heard all the usual suspect asking some questions. And, I respect and consume the work of many of these Big J and Little J journalists here that cover the Celtics around this fine city. But, to be real, and I heard James Stewart, talking about it too, I guess kind of going off the record here, but, I think his opinion of it seems like Brad was about as honest as he could be. I'd agree with that he was about as honest as he could be, or at least he did a really good job of doing that. Because what can you do after coaching the guy and having you as a part of your organization for a decade, but be grateful? And, and that's not me flipping through a newspaper here. I'm not doing the old, all right, what do we got tonight? What are we talking about tonight? No. But he did the old, excuse me, he was reflective. He seemed to feel a little bit of remorse, the fact that, this is where we are. But in the end, use some words to describe the experience. Optionality, the word of the night. I mean, is that even a word, or is that just like a term that gets thrown around in business and I guess in sports, right? Because sports have become at least dry as a bone right now in terms of how we are supposed to look at sports. We're not talking about, as the Macho Man would say, speaking from the heart. We're not talking about that. We are talking about analytical, different ways to justify why or how we're doing things. And it was apparently optionality. Sounds like something that they would have hung from a banner in Office Space back when the Bobs were coming in and laying people off. They were looking for some optionality. Celtics are looking for some optionality, apparently. Did anybody ask specifically about the contract? And my friend Brian was bringing this up when we were texting earlier today. And I don't know if the impending contract extension was actually asked about. To me, it seemed to be implied that the years that Jaylen Brown would have been given, to stay here were, I guess, against the best interests of the team, in their opinion. You can sell me on wanting to be flexible to build your team in a different way. But flexibility does not equal greatness, and you can't escape the fact that you had greatness here. No matter what the analytics say, and we'll get into that, you had greatness here, and you chose to move on from it for flexibility. And there are very few examples in sports where people have passed up on greatness in the name of flexibility, and it's worked out in the fans' best interest. So I've got my guard up on this deal. I mean, I outright wanted to just sack the deal at first and be totally against it. There was a good bit of therapy that I went through on Friday when I was in with Perillo and, dealing with those calls. Jake was right there by my side. I appreciate his support as well. And, we kind of worked through it a little bit. I even had some people call in trying to say, oh, yeah, this deal is not as bad as people are saying. Don't understand those calls, really, but they happened. And, yeah, we'll take your calls tonight if you still have lingering thoughts. We'll obviously dip into the press conference from today And you can join us at 617-779-0985. The Joe Show runs from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m., so that is how long we will be here. Not a minute more. And we've got a World Cup game going smack dab in the middle of this thing here. So we'll probably have some reaction when that's through. Flo Balogun, or as I am told by an article that I read, his name is actually pronounced Balogun. We just say Balogun because that's easier. It's a totally American thing to do. So he will be playing tonight.
He will be starting, too, they just announced.
Starting, because, of course, why not? If you get the green light, go do it. The voice of Skaz, as you should all know here. And I want to get a few things here on the table, and we'll get to them on the other side of this first break that we take here. But I do want to have a moment to check in with Skaz, check in with Joe, check in with Riley, check in with folks around here about how we're all doing. I think that mental health is very, very important, and the Jaylen Brown trade affected my mental health, so I feel like it may have affected the mental health of others. I could be totally wrong with that. But, we'll check in with each other a little bit. And, the other thing is I think that this trade is ripe for some comparisons. And, hey, Sean Sylver's a nostalgic sort, right? Nostalgic about just generally everything. Sports, music, life, beats, rhymes, and life. But there's a couple of trades I think that are a basis for comparison to the Jaylen Brown trade. Like I said, you cannot replace greatness with flexibility and, often come out on top. It usually goes the other way around, but there's at least one example of that. We'll get to that on the other side here. And you're free to join us at 617-779-0985. Sean Sylver in for Joe Murray tonight till 11 here on the Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.
The irony of playing this song after that press conference. Skaz, was this song queued up just like randomly? Or is this like some sort of, are you messing with me here? Playing the Bee Gees after the press conference?
I thought it would just get you in the mood. Sean.
No, I'm not in the mood.
Does this hurt? It's still too fresh?
Brad Stevens referenced the 10-year-old kid, right? I'm still a 10-year-old kid, Skaz. I was saying this to Perillo. I've been here at this station for 12 years. It's hard to imagine, but I have. I started when I was 31. Dan Lifshatz thought I was like 24 when I was 31. And I was like, nope, no, little older than that. So, I've been here a while. I've been on this planet a while. But it's difficult for me to remove myself, even as someone whose part-time job is to talk about sports, react to situations in sports, and particularly ones that are intimately close to the teams that I spend a lot of time, mental capital, investment in, following. It's just tough. Jaylen Brown was my favorite Celtic, and I guess I would be subject to overrating his performance based off of that. But I also know, like I said, that Jaylen Brown was a great player. The proof is in the pudding. He is indisputably a great player, and so to say that these moves are opening up opportunities for the rest of the roster. I saw that analytics schlock that you sent over to me earlier today, Skaz, where it was Jaylen Brown takes away the most points from his teammates than any other, and it was what? Of course, expected points or something like that. Points that don't exist in real life, but magic points. He takes away the most magic points from his teammates so that they possibly could score. Let me be the first to say, and I'm probably not the first, the guys Jaylen Brown shared the court with last year do not deserve to score 4 more points per game. Peyton Pritchard, less Peyton Pritchard, please. Give me less Peyton Pritchard dribbling into the lane, not knowing where to go because he's in a field of trees and doesn't know how to do anything half the time other than bomb a three-pointer. Give me less of that. Give me less of Baylor Shireman having to perform above his head. People are calling in saying Baylor Shireman's going to be 16-6-5 next year. No, put me down for Baylor Shireman under. Hammer the under. I'm not even a betting man, but I'm in Joe's chair tonight. Hammer the under on that. Jordan Walsh, fine, but Jordan Walsh half the time can't hit the broadside of the barn. Those players are not going to score 4 more points per game. I don't even know exactly how the metric works. I just know that I saw it, and it angered me. It angered me because it's among the stuff that's being trotted out here as part of the process for why we don't have Jaylen Brown. Greatness is not easily replaceable. You had 2 of the top 15 players in the league. It is hard to get those assets. Now you have 1. Yes, you have trade assets. Everyone has trade assets and draft picks. So yeah, Sylver, not a coffee drinker, okay? Not even a tea drinker. I'm usually riding along just like this. Street Team Joe saw me at Tenka a couple weeks ago. I had a couple of Mai Tais, and I was like this for a minute. Okay, sometimes I like to go out and have an ice cream, and I have a little bit of a sugar high. But usually I'm riding right like this. And if you're you can't see the YouTube video, I'm just making a straight line with my hand. But certain things get me going, and this is one. Trying to explain it away. 617-779-0985. Skaz, if I can just check in with you, how are you doing on this? I saw the social stuff that came out immediately. Everyone looked, I don't know, sad. I believe Street Team Joe fell on the ground and sadness rolled around, wallowed.
Yes.
How you doing, Skaz?
I think I'm a lot higher on the deal than I think most people are, which isn't saying much.
Okay.
I would say I was yelled at on Thursday for saying I'm starting to come around on the deal. That's probably a little strong, but I think the Celtics are a better basketball team right now than they were at this point last offseason.
Because you believe more in Tatum than in Brown.
I think you're basically taking the same exact roster and you're replacing Brown with Tatum. And look, I get Tatum's coming off an injury and all that, but you're also adding Mitchell Robinson, Mike Conley, and Paul George, and you're basically getting, that same exact roster, replace Brown with Tatum, and adding those guys. Now, on paper, I understand that may or may not look better depending on who's looking at it, but I just think it gives you more versatility and a deeper roster heading into next season.
I think that the Mitchell Robinson ad helps you because clearly you were inhibited. Nights that Keita couldn't stay on the floor, for instance, because of foul trouble. Now you have Mitchell Robinson to jump in there. And Luka Garza was great, and I enjoyed the Luka Garza era in Boston. But Mitchell Robinson gives you, particularly defensively, looks against different centers that Neemias Queta, for as good as he was in a breakout year for him, and he deserves that contract, guys that he couldn't handle. So that's great. And, yeah, I could even go with you and say that, yes, Jason Tatum is a better NBA player than Jaylen Brown. It's probably objectively true if you look at a number of ways of looking at it, right? But I just think the Celtics got more homogenous by adding Paul George. Paul George is not a guy who attacks the rim. Paul George is not a guy who scores in pockets of the court that the other Celtics aren't scoring in. It's just more of the same. It's going to be just more of the same basketball, which is why I kind of came up with okay, you can sell me. It's very easy to sell me on Jason Tatum as the more elite basketball player, but Jaylen Brown's skill set is more rare to me. And it may not be appreciated, but its rarity, I think, in the NBA is important because everybody is winning the way that the Celtics are trying to win. You are supposed to zig when others are zagging. The Celtics are continuing to zig, and I don't see how this is going to be more beneficial. So for me, hammer the under on wins for the Celtics in 2026-27. I do know some folks have been waiting on hold here. I do want to try to get to you. Let's start with John in the car. John, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, well, I mean, I don't know. You probably heard that there. I'm a little all over the place, John, but we'll be all right.
I am going to preface this by saying I am not even an NBA fan.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm not a Celtics fan. But I'm on this radio all the time. I'm sure you've heard me a couple of times.
Sure.
You listen and you develop an opinion. And here's what first and foremost, Bill Chisholm makes Tom Werner sound like Winston effing Churchill. I mean, what a stumbling, bumbling idiot. He talked twice, and both times I felt stupider. And his whole theory about making sure that we instill a winning drive so that free agents want to come here. What notable free agent has ever come here? Zero, zip, end of sentence, unless it's the end of their career and they're looking for one more golden parachute. Primetime NBA free agents will not come to Boston. We heard that multiple times from the players themselves. Now, Brad Stevens, I heard him 2 weeks ago tell me, I want more slam dunks. And then he had to settle for a guy that takes more three-pointers than Jaylen Brown did. Mm-hmm. So clearly, this tells me one thing and one thing only, that this move was nothing more than a way for the venture capitalist to save his money. And he's going to get rid of Paul George, or he's going to re-sign him at a much lower rate than what he's supposed to make next year by having him deny his extension and give him a couple of extra years at less money. This had nothing to do with more than a money drop, and that's it. And it's too bad because Jaylen Brown was not a perfect player, but he's much better than what they got back. And if you're looking to win, like the new owner said, I'm sorry, you're not. You're doomed for failure. Welcome to the world of the Boston Red Sox.
Thank you, John, and I think that's an apt comparison there. I would say to the Celtics, and Bill Chisholm, he told us, just you wait, we will spend. He just needs, to be the right situation to spend it. I'm not going to begrudge him that, it's just a really, really tough situation to be in where his response is, oh, yeah, we're going to do it. Believe me, when you're the new kid on the block and you have no track record of doing any of this, but the track record that you do have, you say these are basketball moves. Okay, hey, getting rid of Kristaps Porzingis, basketball move that worked in your favor, right? Kristaps Porzingis was nothing last year. Getting rid of Drew Holiday, maybe not as much. Getting rid of Al Horford, Al was banged up quite a bit last year. He's at the end of the line. Getting rid of Luke Cornett, that clearly was not a basketball move because he's a contributing player, but you had other bigs that you could bring in and sort of do the stuff that Luke Cornett did. I wasn't crying over the departure of Luke Cornett, but this, to me, not a basketball move. Is it a cap move? Can you call it what it is? It's a cap navigation move. Is it a future considerations move? Yes, but all that has to do with money and the navigation of the CBA. So call it what it is. But and I'll say, and I got a couple of Red Sox Celtics comparisons here that I'm going to get to tonight. You do not want to be in the same breath as a Craig Breslow or Tom Werner if you're the Celtics, and I think that their track record should separate them from that, but that's where we are. How about Mike and Peabody? Mike.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. No, I was just going to comment that was a disaster. I think you really saw the true intentions when they asked him that question about, is it a tough sell, right? And I feel like for Brad, he kind of had a gun to his head the whole time, just kind of being there unwillingly. But Bill Chisholm, he's just kind of like a BS artist. Call him BS Bill now, because he's sitting there telling us, trying to sell us about analytics and saying the team's going to be better and we took a look at things. I think it's all BS. I'm not sold on anything, and I think they're going to be a way worse team. That's the call.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. Appreciate you chiming in. Yeah, I know. I mean, line up your nicknames for Bill Chisholm. I've already got my Paul George nickname. I don't know if the gang back there would know about this because, again, I'm always dropping tidbits that are mad old. Hey, Joe, if I told you about a movie that was rated NC-17, would you know what that means?
Not a clue.
Okay, so but movie
PG-13,
ratings, right?
Yeah, RG.
Right. So Paul George is PG, and this already shows you that the nickname's not going to work because nobody knows what I'm talking about.
Playoff P?
Well, no.
Podcast P?
People call him PG-13, right? Among these other nicknames that you're referencing now, mine for him is going to be NC-17. NC-17 was a rating that was developed back in the day when the movie was so vile and graphic that there were to be no children admitted under the age of 17. NC-17. And Paul George is just so old, there's no version of him that would be compared to PG-13 at this point. He is no children admitted.
So NC-17 was a step below R.
It was a step above R.
Oh, okay.
It was even more stringent than R.
Oh, so you really
Because I feel like you could get into an R movie if you were under 17. It was just like, you kind of had to have your parent with you or whatever. It was a choice that you made. No, NC-17 was like, no, we're not letting anybody pass this.
Did they have people like checking the theaters too, like employees?
I don't recall because I wasn't, ever lined up to go see an NC-17 movie when this was the thing. Not a movie guy, but I think we talked about this. But yeah, no, I'm calling Paul George NC-17 because he's just mad old, and PG-13 rating is below him.
So you don't have any expectations for him, is basically what you're saying.
No, he's gonna be fine. He's gonna be kind of like what he was last year. He's probably gonna miss around 25 games. It just won't be because of a suspension this time, right? He'll be all right. I mean, it's a borderline future Hall of Famer that this guy is, right? He's just at the end of the line. And like the caller just said, I think it was John, no Hall of Famers are ever coming here. Or excuse me, no big-name free agents are ever coming here. This is how you get big names into Boston. You get them when they're old. You either draft them or you get them when they're old. And there you go. Paul George is here. We could have used Paul George, a decade ago, but he's here now. So, NC-17. That's what I'm talking about. We're late for headlines, so I'm going to do that thing. I'm also going to check in with you. We're going to get plenty of Street Team Joe tonight. I think this is the night for plenty of Street Team Joe. We have the United States and Belgium. They are warming right now in Seattle, the Pacific Northwest, for a little footy tonight. A critical, pivotal game, knockout game here for U.S. men's soccer. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. We'll be having a little party over here. I mean, why not? Here on 98.5 The Sports Hub with Sylver till 11.
Sports Hub headlines.
Well, we're already doing a Joe clock. I'm just trying to feel like home. Hey, the World Cup. United States and Belgium about to take the field about 18 minutes from now. Earlier in the day, Portugal played Spain. It is the first quarterfinal appearance since 2010 for the Spaniards. They win 1-0. Of course, back in 2010, they won it all. Celtics met with the media today to talk about the trade of Jaylen Brown for Paul George and picks that made official. Also reported that Ron Harper Jr. has been signed to a 4-year, $13.7 million deal. Other NBA news, DeMar DeRozan cut loose by the Kings. He hits free agency. Rui Hachimura signed a 2-year deal with the Clippers, and the Sox are off tonight. They beat the Angels last night 7-5 to secure a 3-game series sweep. Patrick Sandoval off the IL for them this afternoon. Sports Up Headlines brought to you by Safety Insurance, providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety. I'm Sean Sylver, Boston's Over Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Next update, about 20 minutes.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.
It's Manchester and high-octane Harley-Davidson's 000 even. 0 cash down, 0 interest, and 0 payments until next year on any new Harley this week. Annual percentage rates such as 2.99% and no payments until next year on any new Harley at Manchester and high-octane Harley's 000 even. Now through Sunday.
No payments for 7 months, no interest for 90 days with approved credit.
Whether in Massachusetts, Rhode Island, or southern New Hampshire, when people think new roof, they think Mario's. Hi, I'm Stephen Goulston, owner of Mario's Roofing Siding.
Show going till 11. We got Skaz, as usual, occupying the throne back there. Street Team Joe doing his thing. Riley's working on the socials. God bless her. No, Jaylen Brown, not a rotten apple. I don't believe it. I refuse to believe it. Refuse to believe it. That was the reason. I think it's honestly, and again, you can sell me on needing to build a team that can be sustainable here. But at this point, this is a tremendous, tremendous risk. Tremendous risk. And the only thing I can really compare it to is, the first thought I had, Skaz, was, is this better or worse than the Mookie Betts deal? And ultimately I said, it's not as bad as the Mookie Betts deal. There are a variety of reasons that it's not.
I would co-sign that.
But to me, this is what the Celtics are trying to sell us on right now, is that this is the Nomar deal. That this is we were not going to pay this guy. And it's they're not saying the out loud thing right now. But they were not going to pay, like the Red Sox in the 2003-2004 offseason, right? They weren't going to pay Nomar. He wasn't going to be coming back here, and he wasn't going to be happy because they weren't going to be showing him the love, which is exactly what it seems like we were going to be forecasting here for the Jaylen Brown-Celtics relationship, because NBA superstars, when they're eligible for an extension, they get an extension. And, even right down to the whole malcontent media narrative. Now, you could say the Nomar media narrative might have been a little more accurate than any media narrative around Jaylen. The Colin Coward thing that was coming out. Jeez, spare me. But, oh yeah, we got this guy, he's sulking. He doesn't want to be here anymore. All that stuff. These are just classic tropes. And again, when you're sorry, old Sean's here. I got a little weepy today because I saw the Instagram post of Nomar coming back to Fenway in 2009 with the Oakland A's. I remember exactly where I was when that happened.
On the ground into right field, a base hit. From third comes Ortiz. Behind him is Bay. 2 runs after the White Sox are winning 7-4.
Well, you think back to 2004 and the trade deadline, it was certainly shocking at the time. Here it is 5 years later, and Nomar Garciaparra steps on the field at Fenway Park for the first time as a visitor. And the Fenway faithful get ready for his introduction.
And listen,
this is going to be quite a moment.
Oh, yeah.
Designated hitter number 1, Nomar Garciaparra.
It picks up, though. It gets louder. This is where I lost it. This is where I had to just reach for the tissues. Yeah. There you go. Nomar with like a 2-minute standing O at Fenway on July 6th of 2009. And I remember watching that and just being moved, being touched. Because much like Jaylen Brown being my favorite Celtic, Nomar was my favorite Red Sox because he led the Red Sox. Basically, when the Red Sox were the equivalent of their version of the Bridgies from the time that he came up in 96 through his 97 Rookie of the Year season. And, 99 and 2000 back-to-back batting titles, the constant churning of who's the best shortstop in baseball. Is it Nomar? Is it Jeter? Is it A-Rod? And everybody could have a valid opinion on that. It was an amazing era. He was carrying the Red Sox offense in 2009 to the ALCS. It was Nomar and Pedro and a bunch of dudes, and I love those dudes, by the way, and a lot of those guys showed out. Shout out Brian Daubach. But Nomar Garciaparra carried those Red Sox teams. It didn't end great. When he came back, though, the fans showed him love. Now, Celtics fans, it took 5 years for Nomar to get back here because he got traded to the National League. Back then, the National League didn't play all the time here, and it was only in 2009 when Nomar wound up on the A's for one final season that he got to come back to Fenway Park for one more series. And you can bet your ass when I was out there and I went to the Oakland Coliseum, I got myself a Nomar A's t-shirt jersey. I mow the lawn in it to this day. But Jaylen Brown will be back much sooner. And he damn well better get the ovation of a lifetime from Celtics fans because it is not his fault that he is not here. I think it's just, and that's what the Celtics are trying to sell us right now, that this is a move where we couldn't pay this guy. And hey, it worked out for the Red Sox. They got guys where we were like, huh? Orlando Cabrera and Doug Mankiewicz, right?
The O-Dog.
The O-Dog, who was good, not great. He had a very good rest of the year here in 2004, and then he moved on in free agency because even the Red Sox were looking to pare down after that heavy spending in 2003 and 2004 to win it all, and they did. They rebalanced the books in 2005. But the O-Dog was a very good, not great player. Nomar was the name. Nomar was the franchise. Nomar was the greatness. The Red Sox, in a different sport where there are a lot more people on the field, in the starting rotation, on the roster in general, were able to cover for the lack of that bat, for the lack of that superstar. Can the Celtics cover for the lack of a superstar with Jaylen Brown going out the door? I don't think it's as easy to sell Celtics fans on that as it might have been for Red Sox fans, particularly when the Red Sox turn around and won the World Series and the Celtics ain't going to be winning jack for a minute. How about Brian in Holbrook? Brian, how are you tonight?
Hey, Sean. So I wanted to talk a little bit about Stevens, and he kind of contradicted himself in his press conference. He made it clear, the analytics department was a very small factor in his decision. Look, I believe they had to get rid of the money, and that's why he had to go looking to make this trade. However, on the return, he made a point to say about that you can't win in this league, recent champions having these 2 max deals, right, taking up so much of the cap. But he also talked about the usage rate, okay? He talked about Tatum and Brown. He said Jaylen needs to flourish, and he would need to get these opportunities because he's Jaylen Brown. And he said, and it kind of slipped in the radar, but he said about Paul George that Paul George, essentially, two-way player that at this point doesn't need that usage. It can be effective in his role. And that they were excited about that return. Well, where do you think he's getting that information from? He's getting it from the analytics department. The analytics department went to him and said, listen, Paul George, okay, is going to fit better with Tatum. That, because he's not taking as much shots in the usage and the way that, Jaylen needs to be on the ball. All right, to be able to stand in the corner and make threes, going to be more of a 3-and-D, and then you get under his money, in a year or two, assuming maybe he opts out and they can renegotiate a deal. But don't tell me that the analytics department was such a small amount of this trade. It influenced the return. It absolutely did, and he caught himself when he gave that description about specifically the usage rate of Tatum and Brown.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate that, and that's a great point to make. And, yeah, it makes it hard to stomach here because that did seem a little fuzzy, that response from Brad Stevens. The whole Tatum part of this, I don't really want it to loom large, but it does. It does. And the feedback we got from Jeff Teague today, we can get into that a little bit. He said he talked to Jason Tatum and got some reaction from, obviously, the Instagram post. I mean, it's easy to do all that stuff. I don't know. I always believed that those guys, you don't have to be best friends to be winners, right? Kevin McHale and Larry Bird were, not close, but they're great players. The big three, for God's sake. I mean, Tatum and Brown always kind of seemed like they respected each other as individuals and as men, and they functioned well enough on the court, particularly when you surrounded them with the pieces that could support them where, they won a championship. Now that support system is gone for Jason Tatum. And again, Jason Tatum has always just been assumed that it's his team, right? He's the anointed. He's the god here. But Jaylen Brown was the guy who, when Jason Tatum, just didn't have it in him personality-wise. Hey, I'll admit my flaws. There's a lot of stuff that I can't do in life and can't do well. And certainly can't do on the level of a superstar, millionaire hundreds of times over basketball player. But Jason Tatum's personality, it ain't Jaylen Brown's. And guess what? He won't be there to save you, Jason. You can't just rely on your raw talent. We've booted the dog out the door. And you just got to rely on, Paul George now to not get in your way, I suppose. So we'll see how that works out. 617-779-0985. Shout out to the bully, Bobby Haas. Thanks for the shout. I'm seeing a couple of you on the line as well. We'll continue taking your calls on the other side of this here, as there's more to talk about with Jaylen Brown. Hey, we'll go as long as we need on Jaylen Brown getting through this together here. It's the Joe Show with Sean Sylver on 98.5 The Sports Hub. me, you folks who are in the YouTube feed tonight. STJ got it going up in here, and well, he got it going up on that computer over there. For some reason, he can't get it up on the PC in front of me.
That sounds like Street Team Joe.
Yeah, we're functional, but not fully functional.
Directionally correct.
Yeah, sure. So we'll because hey, I'd love to be chiming in with you on the YouTube feed, and of course you can feed me things that way, stuff to talk about, as it is my duty to get you to 11 o'clock here on the Joe Show and do it in a respectable fashion, so as to honor and not disgrace the reputation of this program. Hey, I've been here a million times. I know what to do. I know how we're going to get to 11 o'clock. Little of it might be, what do we got? What happened? Was he off? Did anyone see? Was he off? No. Oh, come on.
It's early.
Okay. What are we, 9 minutes in, and Belgium is on the board in that, as I was just going to say, that World Cup matchup. We've got a stadium full of shocked onlookers. I mean, again, this doesn't need to be that big of a deal. I mean, the women's team has done this about 1 million times. Them not reaching the quarterfinals would be a shame, but I thought he was off. What do we got here? Oh, is it because that guy was down? This is riveting radio, I know. I'm trying to get a read on what happened. He was off. He was off. If that other guy can be disqualified because he was off by a hair length, literally, that Belgian dude was off. As much as I enjoyed their beer and their waffles when I went there on my honeymoon, that guy was off. I don't know. Maybe they deserve that, considering the machinations that the United States had to go through to get Balogun into this game. Maybe he could score a goal. That would be asking a lot out of him. He's had quite the week. I'd imagine it was emotionally draining. Probably tough to deal with here. But either way, U.S. down 1-0 to Belgium. We're working through your Jaylen Brown calls, and like I said, I'll honor that until we have no more. Here on the Sports Hub, and let's go in order of appearance here. We have, what's the name of this guy? I see Bill Chiz and Craig Brez, the demonic duo of ruining Boston sports, but I don't have a name. Shall we just take a hello? You're on the air. Hello, caller. Can you hear me? 98.5 The Sports Hub. You're live. Yes. What's your name?
Oh, no shit. Yeah. My bad.
Okay. Whoops. That one didn't work out very well, did it?
It's still a holiday for some people, I think, Sylver.
Oh, man. I was wondering, who was going to be back to work, and seemed a little spotty in offices and stuff today. I think a lot of people took off today just to get in their World Cup mode. All right, we'll see if with Justin and Lynn, if it goes any better. Justin, how are you?
Hey, I'm good, Sean Sylver. I just have a couple observations. I was bothered by a couple things that Bill Simmons said today, and he said that the trade for Jaylen Brown had nothing to do with money, that it was a basketball move. And I disagree. I think it can be both things. I think it was money, and I think it was a basketball move. I don't think it was just the basketball move, and that's just funny when you said that. I watched the press conference today. I just wanted you and Kath's thoughts on that.
Yeah, of course, Justin. It's always nice to hear from you. Thanks for calling in. Yeah, it's awfully hard to chalk this up to a basketball move. It's difficult.
Can I just push back on that a little bit? Because for the Celtics, I don't think it was. We keep coming back to Jaylen Brown the player, and I just think that their view of Jaylen Brown and the average Celtics fan, NBA fans' view of Jaylen Brown might be a lot different than we anticipated. If you really dive into these analytics, my biggest takeaway from this whole thing is that the Boston Celtics don't think Jaylen Brown was a very good basketball player. So for them, getting off of his contract, the value compared to how good he is at basketball compared to his contract, they over there might truly believe this was a basketball move. And now that's a bigger problem. Yeah. But I think there is part of that organization that truly thinks this was a basketball move.
Yeah, and Skaz, I appreciate that perspective, because it's important to kind of recognize everybody that's in the conversation here. And what sort of viewpoint they might be bringing to it. We can recognize all of these people. It's also okay to say that these people are wrong. I think that it's fair again to say that Jaylen Brown isn't. Do you want to make a distinction between Jaylen Brown being elite and just being a star in the league? What's your line of demarcation between superstar and star, or just star and very good player? I think wherever it is on any sort of list, Jaylen Brown is one of the top 15 to 20 NBA players from a talent and production perspective. Now, it's when you get into the analytics, and I would say it's not where you lose me, it's where you're wrong. Because the same thing happened with baseball, right? Where we started taking players who were great and pounding the table and saying, my spreadsheet tells me that this player sucks, actually. And spending 10 years, 15 years, 20 years of doing that, to the point that baseball became so terribly homogenized that it was boring. And everybody was doing the same crap. And in order to win now, you have to do different crap, which is why the Rays are stealing bases, which is why the Red Sox under Cora a couple of years ago started winning games by stealing bases, giving up outs, which are the most precious commodities in the world, and actually doing something that provokes action and daring and fun and excitement. Jaylen Brown was the action, daring, fun, and excitement of the Boston Celtics. Their analytics people are telling them that he's apparently taking away from, I'm only going to presume, the three-point opportunities that Peyton Pritchard could be shooting, or someone else. And
didn't you hear Peyton Pritchard is the next Jalen Brunson? You didn't see that article?
Whose take is that?
I'll have to find. I don't want to misattribute that one.
Oh my God! It's not Ricky O'Donnell, because Ricky O'Donnell is the guy who had all these analytics there. All these analytics. What was the thing? The wrap 'em.
Yeah, you can't forget about that.
Time decay wrap 'em.
Tom Haberstroh.
Oh, Haberstroh?
Yes.
That's a guy I've read over the years. Really? He's that's his take?
I'll toss that one in Slack for you.
Let's see. By time decay wrap 'em, which is just sounds good. Brown is number 270 in the league. It stands for regularized adjusted plus minus, a metric that doesn't consider traditional box score numbers like points and rebounds, the actual crap that happens when you play basketball. Instead, it measures a player's individual impact on their team's scoring margin per 100 possessions, adjusted for the strength of teammates and opponents, and features ridge regression to filter out statistical noise. Hey, I respect all the ways that analytics can make us look at the game. Because, again, you can identify inefficiencies to exploit and therefore make yourself better. But if you're telling me that Jaylen Brown is number 270 in the league at anything, I'm out. It's a bogus metric. It's wrong. You're wrong. It's because I know what the Celtics are doing. And I made this point the other day, and I've been making this point for months. Brad Stevens was the guy who brought the three-point shooting to the Celtics when he was on the bench. And it was kind of in response to, oh, look at what the Warriors are doing. This is the way that the league is going. So in 2015, I believe, if you look at Basketball Reference, if you start to look at their three-point attempts, that's when the Celtics vaulted into the top 5 or 10 in the league. Even some of those years, they were number 2 in attempts. And it was hard to be number 1 because Steph Curry was an actual living, breathing NBA basketball player. But the Celtics were number 2 in attempts for at least a couple of years when they were the Bridgies, because it was an inefficiency that they exploited, and they won games that they weren't supposed to win by doing that. But it's just like the Red Sox. When it no longer becomes an inefficiency that you're chasing and the whole entire league is doing it, who is benefiting? If the end game is just to attempt more three-pointers than everybody else, then what's the real end game? It's just everybody going down the same hole. You are no longer unique. You're no longer special unless you make three-pointers at a higher rate than anybody else, which they don't. They're not an elite three-point conversion team. With or without Jaylen Brown, they're not. And with all these extra attempts for Peyton Pritchard with a hand in his face next season, he will not be the next Jalen Brunson. He will be the next get him the hell off of my team. I can't stand watching this crap. Peyton Pritchard's been great, akin to Nemish Queta or any other player on the Celtics who has built themselves from unheralded prospect to guy that other people overlooked to contributing NBA basketball player and, in fact, sixth man of the year a couple years ago and a starting caliber NBA player. But less is more with Peyton Pritchard. There are nights when Peyton Pritchard can't get it going. There is a good reason for that. He is not a number 2 or a number 3 on an NBA team. That is where Jaylen Brown needs to be. You just removed that. You no longer have that. So whatever Rapham tells you, rip 'em, brother. You got to go into these stats here and give me a stat that tells me how are the Celtics different from any other NBA team and how are the differences going to make them better. And right now their only difference is Jason Tatum. And that's putting an awful lot on a guy who's coming back from an Achilles. Mike in Salem, what do we got?
Hey, I'm here to talk about Craig Breslow and also technically the Celtics ownership.
Sure.
I don't think that it's technically even their fault that they're putting out just such horrible rosters at the moment. Trading someone like
meaning the Sox?
Jaylen Brown.
Oh, the Celtics. Okay.
Yeah, but I think that it's all ownership. It goes straight down from the top. The ownership needs to get out of Massachusetts, these private equity places. I don't need State Street owning my sports teams. We need people directly from the state that care about the state, that care about the sports teams, to own these teams and invest in the players, invest in their development. Jaylen Brown was a homegrown talent. We had Mookie Betts, homegrown talent. Andrew Benintendi, homegrown talent.
Yeah,
all
he
traded
stunk,
away for
though.
nothing.
Yeah, Skaz, what do you got to say on this one to Mike?
Well, those people don't like. What the hell are you talking about? It would be the first thing I would say to him. Like, Bill
Is it just
Chisholm
because it worked for Kraft?
is
Right?
from here, and yeah,
And Wick was from here, right?
Kind of worked for Kraft, except for the fact that Tom Brady. I don't know if you've ever heard of that guy. He had something to do with it, and the whole Wick thing. It was not Wick. It was his dad's money.
Right.
So. You can't really just get rid of the owner. I don't know if you're aware of that either. These guys own the teams. They don't usually just give them up willy-nilly to local guys just for fun. So I would say get used to having private equity in your life because they're here to stay.
Yeah, John Henry ain't going anywhere. You can wear all the bags you want to wear. You can complain all you want to complain. It's always the question about are they executing, are the people that they put in charge executing in the right way? And it's not even Craig Breslow. It's the fact that Sam Kennedy, to me, Sam Kennedy has been the guy, and again, and we've heard Maz talk about this in the baseball hour, not even a guy who comes from a baseball background. He's a business manager who somehow is in charge of the personnel moves. It's Cam Neely with the Bruins, another guy who's been not very good at his job for a while, but he's a team legend, and you're not really actually going to get rid of him because the Jacobses have proven for all the years that you've whined and bellyached about the Jacobses, they have not sold the team. And when the old man, whatever, decides to step down, it's going to be his son. And hey, now we got Chisholm and whatever cabal he has that's running the Celtics. And I'm not saying he's necessarily here for the long run. Maybe he is looking to come in, strip it down to the aluminum and sell everything off. But you got to come with options here. Who here locally is in the market to buy a team? It is one. And further, Brad Stevens, we've trusted him to make moves up until now. This does seem like something that he's seemed to have done under duress.
You're a big NBA guy, Sean. I would just advise the people out there also be careful what you wish for. I don't know if you've paid attention to what's going on in Portland at all since they've had an ownership change where their new owner is not paying for hotel rooms for the players on the active roster. So just be careful what you wish for. And
great point, Skaz.
Bill Chisholm did have a quote in there where he said, we're going to spend blah, blah, blah. It's not about the money. And look, if you're a Celtics fan and you're skeptical, 100%, I think you have every right to be skeptical. But they didn't save any money today, the Celtics, by making this trade. They saved $3 million between Paul George and Jaylen Brown. The money they're saving is 3 years from now. They're saving the money on Jaylen Brown's extension. So in theory, the Celtics are saving money because they haven't spent that money that they were going to spend on Jaylen Brown. Now, not on this show, but there is a show here at the station where you can't get someone in trouble for something they haven't done yet. So Bill Chisholm still has the opportunity to spend that money.
Sure.
And the Celtics roster is deeper today than it was, last year or even a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it's Skaz. I mean, honestly, though, they were pretty deep last year to the point that Missoula had to cut the rotation at some point.
They were deep, but with bad players.
Deep with bad players. Now they're deep with Mike Conley Jr. He's not going to make this roster, Skaz.
He's older than the head coach. I would say that's not a great sign.
He's NC-17. He's another one not admitted.
But I think you can say that Jaylen Brown, Nikola Vucevic out, and if you don't even really want to count Vucevic, fine. Jaylen Brown is your main roster piece that is not here anymore. And you are bringing in a healthier version of Jason Tatum.
That's great.
More experienced, older, Hugo Gonzalez, Baylor, Walsh, those guys.
Sure.
So you would have to assume they're going to be better than they were last year.
Maybe.
And you're adding Mitchell Robinson, Mike Conley, the corpse, and then Paul George. So even if the roster is exactly the same, Jaylen Brown never had the opportunity to play with Jason Tatum last year or Mitchell Robinson. So just by those additions on paper, or, Paul George and Mitchell Robinson with Tatum, like on paper, you can try and sell me that they got better. Now, do I agree with it? No, because I still think there's a world where you add Mitchell Robinson and Mike Conley and it's Jaylen Brown is still here. And
yes,
that's the reality I would like to have been.
And that goes back to the timing here, right? Because
exactly.
Now is not 3 years from now when you're saving the money. Now is a time when you could have gone for a title. And that's, I was all ready for Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Mitchell Robinson, and Fam going for a ring this year. I would have totally been up for that.
And listening to Jaylen Brown's comments immediately after the trade, I think he was up for that too because he seemed genuinely stunned to me. That was kind of my takeaway from that initial Twitch stream was that he seemed that, things were okay. And then he said things went sideways at one point. And I think that after the Giannis trade, I think you could sell Jaylen Brown. I think he's mature enough, a smart enough guy. I don't think there's a problem with Jaylen Brown being smart that being traded for Giannis Antetokounmpo is not an insult. Jaylen Brown understands that. But something happened after that, quote unquote, where things went sideways that I would like to know more about. What does that mean? And that's another question where maybe it is like the Malcolm Butler thing where we don't really ever get the answer.
I'm okay not ever getting the answer because I think it's just going to piss me off, frankly. Because it's just weird because if Jaylen Brown was not valued by the quote-unquote analytics department and by the organization in this way, then how did this happen all so quickly? If there wasn't any sort of catalyst to the deal, right? Unless Jaylen Brown outright requested a trade, which we have no source confirming this, there's no catalyst. But we treated it like an inevitability that it was just going to happen. And I thought that it was just agent posturing and the usual BS that's going on around NBA discussions. And it got really real, really fast. And I think we were just all kind of really shocked, and now we're really sad. I think any way that you look at this, you're really sad. Unless you're Damien and Saugus. Damien.
Oh, wow. Hey, Damien and Saugus. I didn't realize you had my name or my location. I'm in the car.
Yes.
Hey, how are you guys? So,
how are you?
I like the move. I like the move a lot. I shouldn't say that I like the move a lot. I like getting rid of Jaylen Brown. I think we overpaid for Jaylen Brown when he had his contract signed, and he's not a number one player. He wants to be a number one player. He was never going to be the number one player here. We always needed a big guy in the center. I'm disappointed about the return, but at the same time, we only have it for 1 year. I thought it was going to be part of a bigger move, but didn't end up being a bigger move. But I don't know. I'd rather have the flexibility. I'd rather have him gone. I don't think that he ever played well with Jason Tatum. I think that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown on the floor at the same time was a terrible thing.
Damien, they won a championship on the floor at the same time. Damien, they won a championship. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
They lucked out. Every single time Jaylen Brown has the ball, every single time Jaylen Brown has the ball in his hand, taking a three-point shot, I'm looking at him and going, no, please, don't shoot it. That's not how you want to feel about your number one player. That's not how you want to feel about number one player.
He was your number two, Damien. You just said it, and that take is number two to me. So, sorry. I'm a nice guy here, and I appreciate you calling, but that take is doo-doo. Let's take a break here to reset here on the Joe Show. Sean Sylver until 11 on the Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe.
On a Monday evening, checking in with folks. Obviously, you can join us at 617-779-0985. We have cleared most of our Jaylen Brown phone calls, and that's probably good considering the last one was, and I quote, that Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum were terrible on the floor together, and then every time he put up a three-pointer, the caller said, no! Damien, what you're thinking about is when Marcus Smart used to shoot three-pointers. Please do not treat my MVP like that. Meanwhile, on the pitch out in Seattle, Team USA taking on Belgium. I looked down at my phone, and I had a couple of missed calls from somebody important to me. So I, took it right there at the break. Turns out that it was a pocket dial. I missed the U.S. goal. Was that on a PK, a free kick? What were we talking about here? Was that a free kick they got? Okay. And then Belgium immediately scores back, so it's 2-1. So we're gonna have plenty of drama from Seattle. The World Cup's been great. It is really, it's been a lot of fun for me. I think I've shared before with folks that, this is a year that, my son has really gotten into soccer. We were just as a family at a Boston Legacy game yesterday. We've been checking out the Legacy games at Gillette, but of course, since Gillette is owned by FIFA for the moment, they're playing down out of Rhode Island, so we went to the Centerville Bank Stadium down there in Pawtucket, which is a nice little soccer-only venue. They played to a draw yesterday against Bay FC, but, just enjoying, consuming all kinds of soccer. Obviously, the Revs still doing their thing, and they're headed to a new barn in a few years. But, yeah, the day-to-day, as folks know, as a baseball fan, I know Skaz is a baseball fan because he's got his little trivia book with 2,500 facts. I just love the day-to-day accompaniment that baseball gives me. A lot of people are like, I can't play fantasy baseball. That's just too much. No, it's easy. You just, flick it on, turn on the app for 5 minutes every day, make your changes, see, who's getting picked up, who's getting dropped. It's just a little everyday exercise. And then in October, when it's over, I feel lonely. But this World Cup, this soccer, every day, you got 3 or 4 games. You got stuff going on. It's been great. And some of these games have been great. I know some criticize the 48 teams. I could see it both ways. But, you've had some of these long shot stories, teams that would have never been even invited under the old format. Nice save. Have got to play and have got to show out and do their thing. And somewhere in the midst of this all, the United States have wound up in the final 16, and they're battling Belgium for the right to move on here. I don't know. Hey, 3 goals in the first 35 minutes or so. So this is a high-scoring contest here. But yeah, there's been a lot of drama. There've been some great performances by great recognizable players. Did you guys, as kids, do the sticker book collecting? You could get. Okay, so this was a thing for me in the 80s or 90s, and I know, again, I'm out of your time zone here, but you'd get a sticker book, and every page would be a different team, say like the Red Sox, and you'd collect Wade Boggs and Dwight Evans and Jim Rice and Roger Clemens, and you'd fill in all of the slots until you've filled in the whole field full of your players for your team, and then you could do it for all of the teams, And so now, I guess, we went to the local card shop, shout out Sports Card Station in Norfolk, and they had a sticker book there, which I also saw at the supermarket too, but it's like every country has a page, and you collect all the players in the lineup. You put the goalie, and you put so you get these little packs of stickers. They get 7 to a pack, and then you peel them, and you stick them and put them in their little boxes. Did you ever do that, Joe? Or was that even an option? I don't know. It seemed to me like a very old school idea. It's Panini, the company.
I used to collect flip books.
Flip books.
So you would it'd be like
a scene?
Yeah, like a scene. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of baseball cards, it'd be a flip book. I have a Nomar flip book at home.
Nice.
But the stickers, no. But I am a big card collector, along with Joe Murray. So
yes.
So your son is entering the right hobby.
Yes, I don't know if I'm like shouting out a competitor there on the air.
No, I've seen those.
To Joe's,
the sticker books
cards
there. I've seen those for the World Cup, but no, I don't remember them from when I was a child. I'm trying to think if there was anything like that. I mean, we used to do like the quarters. We had like the quarter book where like, you try and get every state or something like that. But I don't remember the lineup ones. I definitely would have been into that though.
Yeah. My dad, when the Red Sox won the 2004 World Series, he got me like a quarter page or a quarter. It's like in a shadow box, and all the quarters are like painted with the Red Sox players on them. It's kind of neat. It's like I haven't seen anything like it. He probably saw it on like Home Shopping Network or something. It was like, yes, genius. But I still have it. It's great. Yeah, the state quarter books. That wasn't a thing for me. We just had plain quarters when I was a kid. You didn't have the states on the back of the quarter. I don't know when that became a thing. I feel like around the millennium that might have become a thing. The state quarter. And what else did you guys collect when you were?
No, Beanie Babies. Beanie
Babies.
Yeah, for sure.
Those coming back around, those getting valuable again?
Oh, no shot. What a sham that was.
Webkins? Do you guys ever collect Webkins?
What is a
No,
Webkin?
yeah, I'm not.
Can Riley confirm Webkins? Is that something? Yeah.
I know what they are, but I never had any when I was growing up. But they were like a big thing on TV. I would always see commercials for them.
Okay. I
think it's like a Tamagotchi almost kind of thing.
No, it looks like a real Stuffy. But you can tell I have an 8 and a 5-year-old. It's Stuffy. It looks like a real stuffed animal. These ones I just Googled here. Is that what they are? Like Beanie Babies?
Can't you like have them in real life and then also have them on the internet? I think that was the whole craze. You could turn your stuffed animal into an internet animal.
Oh, so they are kind of like Tamagotchis.
I remember there was.
Do you like feed them on an app or something?
I think so. Yeah, I think there was a Tamagotchi element there.
Yeah. Because I'm picking up what you're putting down with the Tamagotchi reference, even though that was little bit behind me. Cool. Okay. Interesting. I don't know. I just getting into the World Cup stickers, I guess, is my point this year. It's fun. It's been great, and the viewership for the last game was through the roof. I saw that it was higher than the NBA Finals, basically. Viewership and even I think Perillo had said it even he had saw an article that there was an article or a post that the last U.S. soccer game outdrew one of the NFL wildcard games last year in overall viewership. So, I mean, whether that's true or not, even if it's in the conversation, that just shows that a lot of people are in. I mean, this Monday night here coming off of 4th of July weekend, I bet a lot of people are in on this right now and having a good Monday night. I know a lot of my a lot of folks that we had asked, hey, do you want to come on the radio tonight? They were busy, and good for them. Good for them, because honestly, if I wasn't here, I'd be doing exactly what I'm doing right now, and that's watching the game and gassing about sports while I'm at it. 617-779-0985. Quick update here, then we're back on the Joe Show with Sean Sylver.
Sports Hub headlines.
It's the Joe Show. You got the Silver Fox in the host chair tonight. The 6'4" menace out of East Dennis taking you till 11 p.m. here on the Hub. Watching a little bit of USA-Belgium as they have 6 minutes of injury time here before the half. So this corner kick here for the U.S. will probably be the last we see, and that's just a straight save for the goalie. That'll probably be the half. You know, I just thought about this. We were talking about Summer Fridays. And the next time that I work here on the Joe Show will be not this Friday, but next Friday. And frankly, I'm saddened that our intern Riley will not be joining us for that Friday night. That's, you know, it's
she's deeply sympathetic too.
The dedication and drive must be questioned. Really, really putting it on the table here. But Joe, you'll come by and see me, right?
You know what, Sean? I'll clear my schedule.
Hey, no, I'm not asking you to clear your schedule just because
there's not much of a schedule. There's not much of a schedule, Sean. So I don't know how hard it would be. But Skaz hasn't gotten me down here on a Friday in quite some time.
What are you going to do when Tenka closes, Joe?
My social calendar will be wide open. That's for sure.
What you got to do is you got to.
There's no local spot for me anymore.
You gotta have some of these other restaurants try to earn your patronage.
Yeah.
Expand into fish.
Yeah. Like
what is that?
The band or the food?
Seafood Fridays, as they say.
Seafood Fridays.
There's some local pubs.
Joe the Catholic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait. What? Am I missing something?
No, Westboro is They have
known for fish.
Known for fish on Fridays. We get a good shipment in from Boston and Maine. We're like a nice halfway.
But what is Tanka closing have anything to do with you?
Because
making that
Tanka now forces me to go to those American pubs rather than eat my.
So he's gonna have
Chinese
fish there.
Yeah.
He won't be having a hamburger at American pub. He's gonna be
you couldn't
fish.
get a chicken tenders or anything like that.
If I was going to do that, I'd go to Five Guys or McDonald's.
Of course.
If I'm going out to eat, I'm going to get something I can't usually get. Maybe I'll save that for musings. But if I'm going out to eat, I'm getting prime rib or steak or something that's tougher to acquire.
Hey, let me throw a Westboro tradition out at you here that I quite enjoy.
Oh,
Harry's.
Oh, I love Harry's.
I love me some Harry's.
I went on a date there with my girlfriend last week.
Did you now?
Yeah, we went.
Did we get a little fish?
No, I actually had an omelet, which is the easiest thing to make. So I'm back.
This is a morning. This is a morning trip, right?
You just said that you specifically don't order things at restaurants you can make at home.
But I had a loaded omelet. I'm not gonna have fresh mushrooms and pepper. I'm not cutting up peppers and onions.
No, never. You could never cut up a pepper, Joe.
No, that's way too much work for home cooking. So I had a loaded omelet. Home fries. I'm not gonna make home fries.
No. You can never throw those in the
toast
microwave.
And butter. That seems impossible. So yeah, omelet, and she had a clam roll, which is another delicacy.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
What time of day?
It's a good one at Harry's.
Was
this brunchy here?
Yeah, it was like a 1 o'clock.
Okay, yeah.
Just
breakfast all day.
Yeah. Breakfast all. Yeah, Harry's has breakfast all day, open 24 hours.
You got plenty of fish.
You've been there, Sean?
Yeah. Well,
He just brought it up. What do you think?
I'm just like, why?
Just made it up?
I just don't know why he's traveling to Harry's.
My wife is from Southborough.
Oh yes.
So
yes,
I know a little bit around the area there, and in fact, when I mentioned to my wife that we were going to Tenka, she was like, "What's that?" And then I said, "What's the place? Chengdu?"
Yeah, Chengdu,
which is right next to it. And she was like, "Oh, I used to go there all the time." So she was with it. Yeah,
it's right next to Harry's. That's where Sean and I were scouting, Skaz, if we could get ice cream after Tenka. But no place was open by the time.
If Harry's was 24 hours, they're 9 p.m. Okay,
yeah,
I'm looking it up on Google right now.
I think it's breakfast all day. That's where I got confused. We were debating Dairy Queen. We didn't make the cut.
I thought with Dairy Queen, didn't they close at 11? We had ourselves a night, so we
were out late until 11:30.
You know what I got that night? I went to Wendy's and got a Frosty.
Did you really?
That's what I did. I wanted ice cream. I got the closest thing I could get at 11:30 p.m. That Frosty cup is still reminding me because it's still sitting in my cup holder.
Did you get chocolate or vanilla?
I think I got chocolate. Yeah. Remember when they had the strawberry Frosty? They have like these blends now.
Yeah, they're trying to copy the McFlurry.
I was like, what's going on here? I don't know. The strawberry Frosty I could get on board with, but Best fast food milkshake. What company?
Riley and I are going Five Guys.
Okay.
I have to second that opinion.
Let's dial this in a little bit, actually, because Five Guys, I know it's fast food.
They don't have a drive-through
fast food.
Drive-through.
Yes, drive-through fast food.
Okay.
McDonald's?
Cookout?
That's not local.
North Carolina stuff here?
Yeah.
You and Cerrone can talk about that?
Cookout's great.
What would you say, Sean?
Burger King. I think Burger King's the best
King.
shake.
It's funny. I was told Burger King has the best breakfast, which I have yet to encounter.
Interesting. All right.
They have a good. I like their burger the best too. Out of all the big, I'm a Whopper guy.
Like that flame broil there?
Flame broil.
Yeah.
Jake, ice cream from which fast food place? Jake's going McDonald's too.
Well, a McFlurry is that's a win, but I mean it all depends on if they stir it up real nice. You know, it could be a McFlurry and it could be kind of one-sided, like a lopsided McFlurry. I'm out. Now, hey, you might think that I'm here and just talking food because I'm trying to cater to Joe's audience, but I mean this is a spirited conversation here. Joe, you saw me just take the Tenka opportunity and run with it.
Oh, Sean Sylver, I don't want to interject here, but the scouting report I got back the morning after was that Sean Sylver dominated the food spread when with the Joes. That you put the Joes almost to shame is what I heard.
I don't know about that.
We were blown away because you said earlier, we were talking. Joe and I were talking about how much we could eat. And how we could be in a food competition, and you inserted your name, and we're like, oh, all the tall, skinny guys think they can eat. But then he proceeded to kind of show us up, and Sean was eating the entire time. Like, we had endless amounts of food, and Sean never stopped eating. And it was actually quite impressive. And
it was one of my favorite nights of, like, the last 5 years. Just food.
Oh, I love that.
Food.
It was a war of attrition between you and the food.
It was great.
And I was quite
then
jealous.
I got a Frosty.
And then he got it was down the road.
It's perfect.
What's your favorite Chinese food?
Oh man. I don't know. There's just
hardest question of the night right there.
I'm like in a Napoleon Dynamite when he goes to the wig store. He's like, there's just so many options. Joe hasn't seen that, I'm assuming.
I've seen Napoleon Dynamite.
Okay.
I do remember you accidentally choking on the mustard sauce because it was too hot.
Yeah, I put a little too much on there. No, I love a good egg roll. I like anything where I feel like I'm getting my fair shake, and just a nice like thick egg roll. It's like, yeah, this is like a brick that's going into my belly right now, and it tastes great.
This is very Joe Murray right now.
Well, yeah, I mean, don't give me this light, airy, puffy stuff here. Just give me a brick. Crab rangoons are great, though, if you are talking things are on the lighter, airy side, right? Love a good beef teriyaki. I mean, you can't go wrong. Everything was great there. I mean, we're giving these folks like Kowloon level publicity.
And they're closing.
And they're closing.
We could only dream of giving that level of publicity.
I guess it's innocent, right? I guess it's all innocent. Oh man, 9:00. Hey, it's Jake Seymour time. So let's get to this. You can join us 617-779-0985. We'll take a break. We'll get a headline. We'll talk to Jake.
needed to alleviate some pressure with the cap?
No, absolutely not. I mean, this was all about basically trying to win, I mean, I think really trusting in our process. We have the best front office in the NBA, and they put in their work, and they came to the conclusion this was the best way for us to win, and that's the mandate, is to win. And I just have to keep saying that. There's no, we'll spend whatever it takes to do that. The mandate is to win, and Brad and his team came with a recommendation. This is the way we're gonna win. And I looked at it, and I had the same reaction. I was like, wow, this is the fan in me. Like, it was really tough. And then recognizing, and I said this, back in the fall, like, I recognize that I have accountability, and I'm accountable for it. Brad's accountable to me for it, and his team's accountable to him. But the mandate here was to win. And this, we came to the conclusion. They convinced me this is the best way for us to win, and I got there. I did, but it was hard. It was really hard. And I recognize this is a big move, and frankly, I didn't anticipate it would happen this fast in our ownership, but and we are where we are.
Trying to do the math, I think at some point over this season, I've done, 20 to 25, or maybe a few less this year, Celtics games a year since I don't know when. Hundreds of times, at least dozens, if not hundreds of times, I have been in here on a weekend night or whenever, and that song is played, and it's part of the Celtics post game, and we're happy. And yeah, I know, it's kind of, that song is kind of the Celtics version of Sweet Caroline. Now, granted, they only play it when they're winning, right, which makes it different from the Red Sox, but a joyful song, even if it is, something that we hear a lot, right? Skaz, you can't fool me tonight. I won't be dancing tonight. It's making me sad. It's making me sad. So, yeah, we're still talking. And, hey, this show, I promise you, this show is going to go off the rails soon. But we're still talking Jalen because we need to. And we've got a guy who was there today. He was in the building, ladies and gentlemen, 98.5thesportshub.com, on air, behind the board. He was with me Friday when I was working with Perillo. Jake Seymour joining us to talk about the sights, sounds, and reactions from the Auerbach Center earlier today. Jake, how are you?
Doing well, Sean. How are you doing today?
Doing okay. I
better than Friday. Friday, when I saw you, a lot of emotions. The weekend and the 4th of July kind of help tamper some of those.
Thank you. Thank you for noticing. Certain callers like Damian and Saugus. I'm like Jordan right now in that meme. I took that personally. Took that call personally.
I will say maybe the weekend, simmered Sean down a little, but I almost want to say I didn't wake up to it, but I received a text from Mr. Sylver rarely early this morning saying, F those nerds, I think is what it said. So I would say he's not completely simmered down yet.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, I guess that would be accurate. Well, Jake, I obviously know your pedigree here. You, as a journalist, were down there today and asking the questions of Brad Stevens, obviously in the company of just a load of Celtics beat writers and even guys who, you'd more call columnists nowadays. Dan Shaughnessy was down there asking questions. It was as important a press conference that we've had for the Boston Celtics in several years. If you could kind of chalk it up to an overall just attitude of the proceedings from the people who were being interviewed and just kind of B, the people asking the questions. I mean, what did it feel like to be in there?
I think the best way to describe it would just be it felt like the official end of the era.
Yeah.
Because at this point, there's really not much else that can be talked about in a more formal setting when it comes to ownership and Brad Stevens and the front office. I thought Brad Stevens was very honest today, especially his opening statement. His opening statement was about 8 minutes long, and I thought he hit on a lot of the points that he wanted to hit on and a lot of the points that fans were concerned about. And I said yesterday that if they were going to do this press conference, they had to come out and just be honest about what they were feeling, what their decision-making process was, and that was going to allow fans to maybe not right away, but slowly, get on board with Jaylen Brown not being a member of the Boston Celtics and watching their favorite team trade away a franchise superstar. That was my big takeaway from this, is that I did think Brad Stevens did a good job, and Bill Chisholm too, of being honest about that decision-making process and what went into it. Now, with that being said, there were some things that I listened to and I heard. I said, I don't know if that one makes a ton of sense. Like, for example, Brad Stevens talked about how it basically came down to looking at the rest of the league and the past champions and understanding if it was worth having two players who take up 35% of the salary cap and having them on the same team, or instead keeping one of those players and moving the other one to create some optionality is the word he kept saying. Basically flexibility to have other players take up some of that 35%. Well, Sean Sylver, as I'm sure you know, Paul George was traded to the Celtics, and he takes up 35% of the salary cap for the Celtics. And Brad Stevens did address this, and it essentially came down to the fact that Paul George has one less year on the deal than Jaylen Brown. And I think we all know that Paul George is not going to get another massive extension that's worth 35% of the salary cap. Jaylen Brown will be due for that again. In end of July, he would be ready for that extension. So when you start to think of it in that perspective, you can see the flexibility they're talking about. But there's never been a time in the NBA history that I can recall breaking up stars and a team getting better. Like, unless if you're bringing in a star, like a Giannis Antetokounmpo. Like, if the Celtics had moved Jaylen Brown for Giannis, we'd be sitting here and having a much different conversation. Right. But to move off Jaylen Brown for an older superstar who's way past his prime, and maybe he still has some years left in the tank, but it doesn't seem like there's a lot of runway left with Paul George. That to me is like, how does a team get better? If you look at it on paper, how does this team compare to previous years? And I don't know if it's better.
Yeah, and Skaz was kind of talking about why he, thought, and he made a good point as to why, you can look at the roster and swap in X for Y and, add these other little pieces here, and, the depth is potentially better and whatever. And yeah, you can make an argument about that, but yeah, when Chisholm comes and makes a statement about, well, it's about getting better, this year and the year after that, well, no, I don't think it's necessarily a bold-faced lie, but it's tough to be able to support that with data, and yeah, maybe their analytics team, for what it's worth, maybe they have some data that supports that belief that they are going to be better this year. But really, this is about the elephant in the room, and it's the extension where they would have had been paying Jaylen Brown that sort of money at 34, 35 years old. That's what it seems like to me. It wasn't specifically hit on, but it seems to, it's an expectation of the situation, and they avoided that by doing what they did.
Yeah, absolutely. And part of that as well is the fact that Brad Stevens believes, and he said he could be wrong about this, but it does really feel like that he has a firm belief that you can only have one of those players on your roster. You can only have one player who takes up 35% of the salary cap, and you need to move off another player if you have two of those on the same team. And I guess what you can say about that is, well, if you're in the luxury tax, the only thing that you're paying is just the fees. I know the first apron, second apron, there starts to be rules about roster construction, and that get very complex very fast. But when you're just a luxury tax paying team, you just pay the luxury tax. And if you're a repeating team, there's a penalty associated with that. But again, strictly financial. So in some way, it feels like the Celtics could have kept Jaylen Brown and Tatum on the same roster and then added to that if they wanted to pay the luxury tax. And it seems like in this case study that they decided that it was better off to move off Jaylen Brown and get some of that flexibility back to add different pieces and to work around it. But again, you roll your eyes at me about that. No fan wants to hear that.
It's not at you. It's not.
Well, it's about the situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, no fan wants to hear, hey, we're moving off a really good player because we want financial flexibility down the road. When you have another really good player who is in the middle of his prime, coming off a devastating injury and looked really good in the 20 regular season games and the postseason that he played as well.
He did. And I'm thinking about it, and you just talk about that whole idea of, all right, we don't want to pay two players this much. I mean, you look at it, and OKC is about to do it, right, with 3 guys who they're going to be paying. And I don't know what the total cap is, but they're going to have 3 guys under big money. Now, granted, it's young big money, which is different from older guy big money, just the way that NBA contracts work. But, Jalen Williams is going to be, getting paid too. So then you got 3 guys that are getting it there. Obviously, the Nuggets, Jamal Murray is not making Jaylen Brown money, but he's making a ton, and he's stuck around in Denver after they won a title. And even like the $21, I'm trying to think between good grief, Giannis, Chris Middleton, and Drew. There have been situations where
Lopez was on that team too, I think.
Yeah, Lopez was on that team, making a pretty decent coin. Like, you swallow it and you make it work, if you really want it to work. And I can get from a on-court perspective, wanting to change things up, hey, trying to build our team around these 2 guys just isn't working from a basketball perspective. If they want to say that, hey, the failures outnumber our success, singular, because there was one championship year. If they want to say that much out loud, they could have, and at least then I would have appreciated the honesty. But they didn't really, but they also wouldn't really cop to it being about money. I think a lot of it is you had to be respectful of the situation. And as you alluded to kind of first in our conversation here, they handled this press conference with the kind of kid gloves that you had to. You had to show respect to Jalen. It was very clear to me that Jaylen Brown's relationship with Brad Stevens is important to him. And even though this was tough and strained and it's business and it's not pretty all the time, that the 10 years do mean something to him, and that these 2 have some sort of relationship going forward that was forged in their success is an important thing. So, they just it seemed they were honest. I don't think that they were lying to our face. I kind of feel like, you couldn't really get down and dirty on the press conference because no one was really like mad at each other here. It was just kind of a breakup that they decided to make.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too is that because they didn't want to fully commit to whatever the exact reason was, whether it be money or the flexibility, they kind of just went back on a multitude of different subjects that they had brought up throughout the press conference about why they moved off Jaylen Brown. And I think the other thing that you can look at when it comes to what the Celtics were trying to do, and you mentioned those other teams, and it's a good point, like the Bucks had to eventually move off some of their players.
Yeah.
But that was a different CBA as well.
That's true. That's true.
Brad Stevens, he brought up in this press conference the fact that he said, we have 2 players who are making 35% of the cap. Well, he basically said, I wish there was a rule that if we drafted the player and we developed it, that only counts for 25% of the cap. Maybe that's a change that the NBA will look at down the road and will implement at some point. But this is part of the new CBA, and it's hard to keep these guys together given what the first apron, second apron, and luxury tax penalties are. But that just feels like such a cop-out answer to say, because of these constraints, we have to move off of Jaylen Brown because we want to have other pieces around. And the reason why I say that is because when they drafted them going, 10 years ago now, you hit on 2 scratch tickets. That's like going down the street getting a Mega Million, and you get the winning ticket twice in back-to-back years.
You could have gotten Markelle Fultz, right?
You could have gotten Markelle Fultz, taken him.
Could have gotten Lonzo Ball. You could have, and who knows how it would have wound up. I was thinking that the Celtics in 2016 should have gotten Jamal Murray, who, has had a very good career, as has Jaylen Brown, and has won a title, as has Jaylen Brown. But would it have worked as well here? Would it have worked better? We don't really know. But yeah, there's so many different permutations of things that could have happened here, and yet this has been the Celtics' reality here. And now our new reality is, I found it interesting how, and he got called on it, Stevens talked about analytics at the outset, and then he kind of had another comment where he was like, analytics played a very small part in making this decision, and he got called on it. And it's a classic sports conversation, too, because it's like the shadowy, analytics team. We don't really know exactly. We know some of these guys who they are, right? But you kind of want to characterize them as like these guys in like a dark back room with a laptop who are just pounding out combinations and who are feeding stuff into Chat GPT to figure out what works. But I don't know. Jake, I mean, just for like a personal opinion, like, are you buying any of the stuff, any of the noise that's out there about what these metrics are that they may have used to make this decision?
No, I don't think. And to Steven's credit, like you said, he did say that the analytics played a small part in this, and a bunch of facts and other things that he had to look at. He didn't really specify exactly what the whole picture was, but the analytics were a small part of that. I didn't buy any of those advanced analytics. I just thought it was part of this smear campaign, if you want to call it. Yeah. Just because of this is what happens in the NBA. When superstars get traded, when there's drama with a superstar in a team, there's always some smear campaign coming from the team, someone else in the league, another team trying to maybe sweeten the pot for themselves. Those are all things that I felt like kind of worked against the Celtics and Jaylen Brown in this capacity. Maybe Jaylen Brown got better off for it because he's going to a Philadelphia team who is now a very, very good team and a threat to win the conference at this point. And I just think I keep going back to the fact that you didn't have to get rid of these guys. You could have kept it together. You could have even gone to the trade deadline. Maybe you got to the point this summer and said, hey, we don't know if this is what we want to do long term, but let's just see how this first half of the year goes, see what happens, and maybe we move off Brown at the deadline. That would have been totally plausible and a good thing to do. Going back to that lottery ticket analogy, it's like they went down, won the lottery, and then was doing so good, being financially responsible with the winnings, was being great, and then they went out and bought a Lamborghini. Like, where's all the money? You just bought a depreciating asset. That's what Paul George is. Great player, phenomenal player 10 years ago, but he's a depreciating asset that you're not going to get the same return on him as if you had kept Jaylen Brown for the rest of his prime right now.
What about the question that you, or at least the first question that you directly asked? I think you brought up a question about Jason Tatum and kind of his relationship to all of this.
Yeah, so we had kind of, this has been a talking point that we've had, on the radio and on our airways about, is this officially now Jason Tatum's team? Is it fair to say that? Because when you look at this roster, Joe Mazzulla likes Jason Tatum. Yep. Derek White, Jason Tatum guy. Paul George, Jason Tatum guy. So there's this kind of the metamorphosis of the Celtics becoming Jason Tatum's team. And I was curious if Brad Stevens had any kind of discussion with him about after the trade, because he was asked earlier in the press conference if there was any discussion with Tatum or anyone else on the team before, and he said that he doesn't do that. He's like a hard rule against asking other players about other players because he doesn't want to put them in that situation. Yep. But even after the fact, he said that Jason Tatum and him do not have any conversation, that he does not believe that they'll go into depth about that decision and the negotiating process, which to me was interesting because if you work with somebody for 10 years and they're right next to you every day in the cubicle, you see him every day, you guys go get water at the bubbler, get a cup of coffee, and you guys are working together. And then all of a sudden that guy retires, he leaves. Don't you feel there's some kind of emotion with that?
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't you go talk to your boss if you thought that he was fired wrong?
An explanation. Yeah.
Yeah. Why did he get fired for that? I thought he did good for whatever the case is.
Particularly if it impacts my job performance.
Absolutely.
Right.
So I go back to that and say, why isn't, I understand if Stevens doesn't want to talk to him before the trade, but you've already made the decision. You're not going back on it. You're not putting Tatum in a bad spot. You're just checking in on him and seeing how he feels about the situation. Because if you didn't talk to him before it and he thinks Brown's going to be with them for the next 4 to 5 years, well, did you blindside him?
Yeah.
Because he didn't know it was coming? You don't check on him about that? Like, that to me was a very strange, answer to, or maybe an outcome of this.
Well, yeah, because on one end, it makes me concerned about the relationship between player and organization, right? I feel like when you're a 9-year veteran who's an all-NBA caliber player who's making a ton of money, maybe you're not directly involved in the decision process, but at least you get zoomed in. At least you check in with these guys over the offseason, here and again. And I'm sure those guys were checking in all the time when he was coming back from his injury rehab. This is as important to Jason Tatum's career as the injury rehab was, because it's affecting his ability, how he competes, and what his set of expectations are for the future based on the talent that's around him. So it baffles me, unless someone was on vacation or something, that those two haven't had an opportunity to chat yet. And then on the other,
I followed up and said, "Is there a time when this could happen, vice versa?" And he said that he doesn't think that there's going to be I don't know that we'll ever get into great depth about that. I think it's more about what we need to do with this particular team to be as successful as we can. He did say they talk every day, but you're talking every day, but you don't talk about the biggest thing that
every day.
Like, how do you talk every day but then not talk about the biggest move in franchise history that directly impacts both of your guys' legacies with this franchise?
And frankly, if Jason Tatum is not asking for that sort of transparency, that makes me concerned about Jason Tatum. And I'm not going to be one of those people who paints athletes with a broad brush because I don't know them. But I think there's enough about Jason Tatum where it's like, okay, talented dude, he cares, obviously he does to get to the level that he's at. But, he's always had to be juxtaposed with Brown, who seems like he cares a lot. So if Jason Tatum and Brad Stevens are talking and they're just like, oh, how's the weather?
You enjoying the vacation?
Yeah, what's Deuce been? Is Deuce going to summer camp? Stuff like that. That to me is concerning. And again, I'm not going to demand that players act like me. Obviously, they've gotten to the level of success. This isn't a 2-6 sort of discussion here. These guys have got to the level of success by being themselves. I'm going to leave them alone. If they want to attend the birth of their children or or whatever, I'm not going to hate on them for their attitude. But it does concern me a little if that's really. I mean, maybe Brad just didn't want to make it too personal. But,
maybe.
But yeah.
But all you had to say in that situation, we have talked about it.
Yeah.
I want to keep that private between him and I.
Okay. Yeah. And then just repeat it as many times as Shaughnessy prods you or whatever and follow-up questions to your question, right? That would have been fine. I think you would have generally accepted that as an answer.
Yeah, anyone would have accepted that. Maybe someone else asked a different way to see if they get anything else.
Sure,
but if you
because
get the
that's
same
what
answer,
happens.
it's what it is.
Yeah, we all care about everybody's feelings in the business. We have to discuss feelings. But yeah, no, I mean, just verify for us that it has come up, okay?
It feeds into the narrative of Tatum being caring about his own brand, and we see him doing all the marketing on the Ruffles chips and the Jordan brand. Mm-hmm. And again, I'm not getting on any athletes for doing that. Go make your money, go do your deals. I'm not getting on you for that. But there does come a point where people have said, hey, does Jason Tatum care about the team and winning championships, or is it just about the individual accolades?
Right.
And this kind of goes into the latter category of this not talking and not having any inkling or curiosity about what's going to happen without Jaylen Brown, who you've never played an NBA season without in your career.
Right.
There's been no conversation about that.
Yeah. And yeah. I mean, and Jason Tatum, he can be whatever he is. He has his own team kind of controlling his image, whatever. But if you're Stevens, wouldn't you want to get out ahead of that narrative, right? Before it continues down a certain pathway, because I have a theory that, remember how granted the Bucks situation a little bit different from the Celtics situation, but Giannis Antetokounmpo, other than the fact that his annoying brother/brothers just kind of are on his coattails around the NBA, he's kind of been universally praised as good guy, right? Seems like Giannis is a real good guy. Gives kind of frank, funny pressers. I know Miran Fader wrote a book about him. It's kind of in my queue that I'd love to check out. I've read some excerpts from it. It just seems like Giannis is a good dude. Jason Tatum just seems like a good dude, right? But you make those people angry, or you get those people in a situation where they feel like, hey, things aren't really breaking my way, he's going to want to get out of here. Yeah, I mean, give him a couple of years of expectations or dwindling expectations, right? And then he's basically Paul Pierce, 2005, 2006 again, when there were rumors that Paul Pierce wanted out of here and the Celtics had to make a franchise-altering move to keep him here.
Yeah, and I think just going off that point as well, going back to Game 7, what happened to Jaylen Brown? Jaylen Brown did not know that Tatum was not going to play that game until 45 minutes before tip-off.
Yep.
They're going up against an elimination game against the Philadelphia 76ers, a franchise that the Celtics have long battled, and there's history there. And these guys care about that, especially Jaylen Brown. and Brown finds out that his co-star, who's been playing really well, and again, Mazzulla said the media was on a conference call with Joe Mazzulla that Friday before Game 7, and he was asked about the injury, and it was pretty much, no, he's gonna play. He's gonna play. It's gonna be fine. Nothing to worry about. And then all of a sudden, game day comes around, and he doesn't play, and Jaylen Brown doesn't find out until 45 minutes before the game. So Brown would have wanted to know that before, and as well in advance as he could have found out. Brown would have wanted to have known that.
Yeah.
But Jason Tatum doesn't talk to the Celtics, and the Celtics don't talk to him about Brown not being there anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's some sort of obfuscation going on here, but either way, the press conference, I guess, inevitably, and that's why we're here, right? It's going to generate just as many questions as it will answers, and we'll probably be going through that as the season unfolds and kind of looking back on this moment. But yeah, Jake, it's good to get some firsthand perspective on that from you. Obviously, appreciate your work on the Green Teamers. And all the stuff you do around here for us. So thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Sean. Always good to talk Celtics.
All right, hey, I have killed the clock dead, D-E-D, dead. But I need to when I'm talking to my man Jake about the C's, 617-779-0985. And when I catch up with this clock, I'll talk with you, Sean Sylver, and for Joe Murray on the Hub. All right, not going super well for the U.S. at the World Cup. 3-1 now. Belgium on top at the 75-minute mark. So we'll see how things go.
you in or out?
Are you in or out? Gotta know without a doubt. I'm the one you need for a dirty deed. I'm the best. Success is guaranteed.
I don't know how this is going to go here. It has been a little while since anybody has asked me for my opinion about anything. So we're doing in or out. How are we doing this here? Skaz?
Gentlemen, Street Team Joe Ariano, and Sean Sylver in studio. Welcome, gentlemen. A Monday night, July 6th already, edition of In or Out.
I feel like July. I feel like when we open our eyes here from this World Cup stuff particularly, it'll be like the month will be over. It'll be Patriots training camp before we know it.
You got any vacations planned, Sean?
Yeah, we're going to Disneyland, baby.
Oh, wait, the California or the Florida?
California.
Oh, that's right by that's in Anaheim, right?
Yeah.
Can you catch a couple of Angels games, maybe?
I've been to an Angels game.
Do that?
Joe, did we talk about this at dinner?
Did we?
Maybe
my time made me forget all about it.
I have been to a home game for every single major league team.
Oh, no way.
Yes.
Okay, we did not talk about that. I would have remembered that.
I
That's
worked
cool.
on that from the years 2002 through 2017. So there were a couple of road trips. There were a couple of, I'm at a wedding in this city. I'll catch a game. But yeah, I made it to all the
What was
stadiums.
can you give me like your top 2 or 3 stadiums?
Number 1 is PNC Park in Pittsburgh.
Oh.
Yeah, it's definitely number 1. I mean, all the usual suspects are in there, like love Fenway and Wrigley for the reasons that you love them. Baltimore is great. Seattle's great. San Diego's great. But Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. So, what separated Pittsburgh?
It's the smallest venue in Major League Baseball.
Okay. Yeah.
So, it's intimate. The sight lines are great. And the coolest part to me is, Pittsburgh, there's rivers just running through the middle of the city. And they have these just big, beautiful yellow bridges and stuff that are crossing them, and you just sit in that stadium in a night game and you're just looking out at the outfield and you're looking out at the bridges. So it's like San Francisco in effect, where you can hit home run balls into the water, so that's kind of cool. But you just got all that bridge work kind of as like the backdrop.
Yeah, so it's very aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, and it's a cheap ticket, because the Pirates aren't necessarily always good. But yeah, just limestone facades, very, very cool, old school looking ballpark. It's supposed to look a little bit like Forbes Field. So, that's my favorite. That's my number 1.
Who accompanied you? Or was it solo missions?
My buddy Will. I think coming home from college, freshman year of college, we were just hanging out one night and we were like, hey, it would be good to go to a baseball game in another city this summer. It would be cool to drive. And they were like, well, while we're there, we could go to a game in, the next city over. And then we're like, well, while we're there, we could go to a game in the next city over. So we started putting it together, and we went to 11 games in 10 cities in 9 days or something like that. We saw a doubleheader. We saw an afternoon game and a night game in Chicago. One at Wrigley, one at
So this isn't
White
even
Sox.
regarding the Red Sox. You're baseball sickos, and you watch 2 non-home team.
Yeah. So we did that.
I love that.
And then my buddy Jay went with me on a couple of these trips out to the West Coast and to the Midwest, and just kind of filling in the rest with, going down to Florida and seeing buddies there, and going, like I said, going to weddings. And while I'm at the wedding, what can I do the day after the wedding when I'm hungover? I can go to a baseball game and check it off, right? So yeah, that was, man, we totally cut Skaz right out of the conversation here.
That's what Joe
Guess
and I
what?
do every time.
Sean
before In or Out.
Sylver in on PNC Park.
Sean, I know, you're busy often, but there are many times at night where we will start an In or Out segment. I will do the introduction.
Yes.
And then Joe Murray and Street Team Joe will talk. for 15 minutes, and then we will have to go to break and then redo in or out again.
I have heard the in or out restart.
Yes.
Because,
so no,
yeah.
you're filling the spot perfectly.
Yeah,
tonight,
one of the functions of in or out is that it's usually right around the time that the ice cream shop in the next town over closes. So I'm making my end of the night, got to get the ice cream before it closes run. So I start the segment on my drive over. I go in, I get my ice cream right before they close, and then if we need to continue the segment into the next hour, I'm there on the way back. But that's how I consume my in or out with a large cone.
Well, gentlemen, in perfect in or out fashion, we're going to start with our friends tonight over at Pringles. Pringles have announced limited edition hot dog buns. The buns are packaged in Pringles cans and come in sour cream and onion, barbecue, and honey mustard flavored. Gentlemen, are we in or out on Pringles flavored hot dog buns?
I'm out. Although I do have a question about these buns.
Please.
Is the bun crunchy like a chip?
No, it appears to be your standard hot dog bun.
Okay. Because just give me some chip dust, and I'll sprinkle it into my bun, and blammo, I got it. Also, talk about wasteful, right? Hot dog buns, the environmentalist is in the room here. Hot dog buns come in a package, 8 of them? 12 of them?
Sure.
Something like that.
A lot of plastic.
In a plastic bag sleeve, which at most grocery stores in Massachusetts, you can bring your plastic bags back, and there's a dedicated plastic bag recycling bin right there. Circularity, right? That hot dog bag, once it's clean, just put it in there. These Pringles cans are multi-material. They're metal. They're cardboard. They're not easily recyclable. And you're using the can to put a freaking bun in there? At least give me the sleeve of chips. At least give me I want a brick in my belly, all right? Don't use a Pringles can on a bun.
Is it in a normal packaging
what a
size,
waste.
or is it in one of the Pringle cans?
The picture you sent over.
Comes in the Pringles can. Yeah.
No way. Really? Wow.
How
many buns does it even fit in there?
Yeah.
It's a great question.
One bun. What a waste. And probably how much is that bun going to cost? I love Pringles as much as the next guy. I love them. I had a problem.
For buns these days,
huh?
Sean. People pay for buns. That's all the rage. There's a lot of people
specialty buns.
I feel like throughout history, a lot of people have paid for buns.
That's certainly true.
But I used to have a problem with Pringles because when I worked in downtown Boston, I'm hybrid now. But when I was 5 days a week in downtown Boston, I get my snack cravings, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's what am I going to do here? What am I going to do? So I'd head over to the CVS that was next door. And when they'd have that Pringles 3 for $5 deal, I'd be pop, pop, pop. 3 cans of those babies. One with the cheese, one with the sour cream and onion, and one with the salt and vinegar. And just bring them back to my desk and inhale a couple of cans right there.
We talking full cans or the snack version?
No, we're talking full can.
Oh man, that's pretty impressive.
I do a full can in one sitting.
That's the problem with Pringles is there's not enough.
And if I was feeling froggy, I'd jump into a second can. So, that was
I didn't
problematic.
know you were this kind of eater. So you
saw me in action, Joe. Things can get out of
control.
Are you a big
quickly. Exerciser too? How are you not large?
I've got ridiculous metabolism. It's got to be just genetic.
But are you a CrossFit guy or anything like that, or no?
No, I do exercise.
Does Sean Sylver seem like a CrossFit
He could be. I mean, he's
guy?
fit and he has the diet of an obese.
Well, no, I'm fed very well at home. I eat very healthy. I have my moments.
You have okay.
And I'm not when COVID hit, I lost 10 pounds. And again, that's not a lot, right? But I went from 210 down to 200 just because I wasn't eating snacks at the CVS, a couple days a week, right? But I've been the same height and weight since I was a junior in high school. It's
when you were younger, did you have a worse diet or you always ate pretty healthy?
We all? I mean, no, my mom fed me great, but you're a kid and you're going to go down to the Tedeschi's and get whatever. But no, when I was a kid, they used to call me I can't even say on the air the things that they used to call me because I was so skinny. I would eat everything. I went to high school. I was 6'1" and like 140 pounds.
Oh, man, yeah.
Yeah, I was real skinny. So, yeah, man, I love Pringles, but out on these buns.
Skaz, I'm just curious, are you in or out on this?
Oh, I'm out. Just give me a standard hot dog bun.
I'm going, if we're going to do any creative buns, I'd rather Bugles.
How about like Fritos or something?
Bugles.
Bugles are so good.
Love Bugles.
Yeah.
That was another thing I get at the CVS. Just give me a bag of Bugles. Let me go ham on those. Crunch and Munch.
I like to put them around my fingers, the Bugles.
Yeah. You ever have Crunch and Munch?
Is that like the mix of everything?
Like some popcorn with caramel in there.
No. I thought you were saying Munchies, which is like the Doritos.
Munchies. Yeah, but no. Crunch and Munch. You got there's some nuts, there's some peanuts, popcorn.
Chocolate?
I don't know if you had chocolate, but you might have like a little caramel glaze on some of those popcorn kernels. That was always good.
Did you like Smart Food?
I mean, too healthy, man.
Too healthy. I don't know. Smart Food is healthy now.
It's
cheddar.
It's just popcorn with like some cheese dust on it. Like, no, I want some crap in my food. Give me some variety.
Doritos?
Sure. I mean, fine. I'll eat them at a party if they're out. I won't buy them specifically.
What about what Skaz said? Fritos.
Same thing. I'll eat them if they're out at a party, but whatever.
So, what is your top chip?
Chip of choice? To feel terribly displeased with myself and unhealthy, Pringles. But I like a nice like a ridged chip, like a Ruffles.
Oh, okay,
with the
a little
ridges.
texture to them. Yeah,
a chip with the ridges. And also, as a native Cape Codder, I got to respect the Cape Cod potato chip. I didn't like it as a kid though, because I was like, "What's going on with this?" But yeah, Cape Cod potato chips.
Skaz has Deep River chips back there. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
No?
It's kind of like a Cape Cod chip when you say Skaz.
Okay.
Yeah, they're just a gas station,
There you go.
Grab them on the way in.
Funyuns? Sorry, I'm distracting us.
I like a Funyun. That's fine. But again, not something I go out of my way for. Now Cheetos, yeah.
Puffed or crunchy?
Cheetos crunchy. But for like a cheese ball or like or any sort of, what are they called? The cheese puffs.
The cheese curls.
What are they called? Not the Cheetos puffs, but there's like cheese doodles, cheese whatever.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like those are great. Oh, those are fun. Yeah, we used to have like staff meetings at my office in Boston, and I didn't have a whole lot of self-awareness, I think, when I was younger. I was just like, I would show up to that staff meeting, and I'd be like, we got Oreos, we got this, we got that. I'm just, the whole meeting, I'm just eating the whole entire meeting. Like other people would have a few snacks and then stop. But it's like, we're discussing like our plan going forward on various work activities, and I'm still eating because there's still snacks in front of me. I could talk about this stuff and crunch. Just on and on and on. It's a problem. It occasionally rears its ugly head, Joe, but it's all good. Do you have snack choices that you feel compelled to share that,
I would say my top two are Cheez-Its and Goldfish. I know that's pretty basic, but
classic.
I just like the crunch and the salt. Like I like the texture on those things.
Savory over sweet. Is that you in general?
Well, I mean, I'll take sweet too. But yeah, in general,
like
buns,
I like though. What are we? No, I'm sorry.
I would be in on the I wouldn't do the can thing. That seems a bit. But if it came in like an 8-pack and it was like, dusted of sour cream and onion, I could potentially try that out.
Speaking of buns, what about like a nice gas station like honey bun? You buy the individual,
like the Big Texas, like the cinnamon roll.
I don't
That's
know.
like the classic
I was thinking
one
like a
you
Drake's,
see.
Like in
a
the
Drake's honey
case,
bun,
right?
Okay.
I mean, maybe that's.
I'm going for something more chocolate, like a
Texas.
brownie. I think.
Okay.
Like
check out the Big Texas.
Auntie
Ho-ho.
Tots. Yeah. Ho-ho.
Ring ding. Ding dong.
What's the one that's like the sandwich with the cream in the middle? Why am I blanking on the name?
A Twinkie?
No, but that another good one.
Yeah. Is that a ding dong or a ho ho?
It's in that category.
Yeah, what is that called? Ring ding? No, that's like the.
They're like probably the most famous one.
Yeah. Well, why are we blanking here? All of this knowledge of unhealthy snacks, and we can't figure this out. 617-779-0985. If you know the name of this mystery
thinking of the
food
Hostess
item.
cupcakes, like their little cupcakes with the filling in the middle?
They are so good.
No, I do love those though too.
Oh man!
Devil dogs.
Devil dogs.
Devil dogs.
There
Those.
you go.
Now that's my weakness. If you gave me a pack of devil dogs, I'm in trouble. Because those things,
pack.
What do you mean you're in trouble?
I mean, like, because I'm not going to be able to. If I'm unguarded, like, and I'm a 12-year-old kid, that thing's gone. Unless, like, a parent is supervising me, I will eat the whole thing.
You need to be physically restrained.
Yeah, because those things just went down so easy. The devil dogs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Hostess cupcakes. I a couple of years ago, I discovered I went to the Target on Cambridge Street, which is near my office now. And, occasionally I'll go over there and I'll just be like, a little Ben & Jerry's pint. Why not? Why not? Is it on sale? Oh, it's on sale if I buy two. Well, but I saw, like, the Hostess cupcakes, like, on a bottom shelf, kind of away from the other stuff. And I was just like, whoa, these are really inexpensive. And I bought it. And I had one, and then I had another, and I had another. Pretty soon.
Get out of hand.
Another thing that can get out of hand is a bag of candy corn around Halloween.
Oh, I don't like candy corn.
See, it's not for everybody.
If someone gives me candy corn, and if I was trick-or-treating when I was younger, I'd egg their house probably.
That seems to be a bit
If
of a
I was
reaction.
younger, yeah.
It seems to be a
Is
bit
that
of
a hot... Skaz, are you in on candy corn?
I am out on candy corn.
Yeah. If someone give me like candy corn or a candy apple, that's, I don't know.
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and egg your house because of your opinion on candy corn. Oh, wow. Were you a rascal? STJ?
I think a lot of
kids.
kids.
Were you a young rascal?
I was a little bit of a rascal.
Well, I'm trying to figure out. Were you like the rule follower and
I had a little bit of both
evolved into the zany character that you are now? Or have you always had a little bit of the
No, I was a rule follower when I was younger. And probably like college is when I started to turn.
When did it all fall apart?
Yeah, maybe start of, high school was a little bit. And then college it was just like, I don't
We
I don't know.
We went off the rails like a night show.
Yeah. What next? What question are we?
We've had.
Was this still the Pringles one?
Yeah, that was the first one, right?
All right, gentlemen. Let's see here. Let's head to the movies for this next one. We all like the movies. Wes Anderson set to direct a cowboy western starring Bill Murray, Owen Wilson, and Luke Wilson. Are we in or out on a Wes Anderson cowboy western?
Wes Anderson's the one who, again, Sean Sylver, not a movie guy. He's the one. Did he do like
the Grand Budapest Hotel? The Phoenician.
Oh, the
Scheme?
Fantastic Mr. Fox. Okay, I was going to say Royal Tenenbaums is the one I was going to ask about.
Yep.
Okay, so a quirky western.
Yes.
Sure, give me a quirky western.
At least it's not a remake, right?
Sure, fine. Yeah. Original ideas. I am in on original ideas. Bill Murray. Sure. Wilson Brothers? Great. How you feeling?
I have no knowledge on this topic, so I'll just default and say in.
Not a movie guy. He's in.
All
Joe's
right.
here for experiences.
Let's head over to our friends at Liquid Death for this next one. They have released a new flavored water. It is Feastables Peanut Butter Cup flavored water.
God.
Are we in or out on Liquid Death Peanut Butter Cup flavored sparkling water?
Is Liquid Death a sponsor of ours in any form or fashion?
That I am unaware of.
I just
Sean,
went, whatever.
We speak pretty freely at night.
I mean, at this point,
It's 10
it's
o'clock.
just like, are we in the safe harbor for
Sure, why
talking
not?
crap about Liquid Death? No, I went down to Xfinity.
I think it stinks. I'll say it stinks.
Went down
if you
to
want someone
Xfinity
say it
Center
stinks.
recently, and I forget what the price was for a Liquid Death, but it's extortion. Out on Liquid Death. I don't care what you do. You could make hot dog flavored water. I could be Harry Carey, and
How
I
much
would not
was
eat
it?
your
Do you
hot dog.
remember?
I don't remember.
But it was worse than a normal water.
It was, yes, of course, because it's liquid death. They're upselling. What are they even selling you?
I think because it looks like beer, they're trying to say like, oh, you can drink water and still fit in.
What a load! Just out on liquid death.
Peanut butter sounds disgusting.
Peanut butter
water.
I need a Riley in or out on liquid death. Do you drink liquid death?
I'm out on that. I can't hear you. I don't have headphones, but peanut butter water sounds disgusting. My one thing is, I obviously am 19. I do not drink. I do like having a liquid death at a concert because, I don't know, it's nice to just have a can in the hand. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so that's how they're hooking her, with having a can in the hand.
I think because it appears that it's a can. It kind of looks like a malt beverage to the untrained eye.
Right. Okay,
but peanut butter?
I mean, and that's the whole thing, right? Because if you're having a can in the hand at a concert or anything, you're just trying to get hydrated, right? You make these purchases because you know I gotta do something good for myself here. Let's put some water into the system. Let's not have a bad day tomorrow. Peanut butter water going in though, I feel like that's getting puked up. You know, you're going to a concert. You've had some pregame drinks. Maybe you've had one of these cocktails in a can. Maybe you've had a beer. Maybe it's a mix of these things. And then you're having peanut butter water. That's getting uked up, my friend. I mean, we have talked about buns. We have talked about cans. I don't know what other euphemisms for rear ends we can use tonight, but let's go there. All right, so we're out of the peanut butter water universally. Out.
All right, gentlemen.
Skaz brings it right back to.
Let's see. Where do we want to go with
right
this
back
one?
to where we need to be.
So many options, you know. Let's see here. I'm trying to find one that is, appropriate for the men in the studio. I've been stockpiling here for quite a while. As we did not use them with the Jaylen Brown news last week.
Mm-hmm. That's okay. I'll take your leftovers. I mean, as I did at Tenka.
Well, apparently so.
My nickname in college was the Seagull.
The Seagull?
It's better than the garbage disposal.
I was just coming for your plate, man. Look out.
All right, gentlemen, we'll head to Krispy Kreme for this next one. Krispy Kreme has announced they're bringing back their limited edition Girl Scout cookie-inspired donuts. They will include Thin Mints, Lemon Ups, and coconut caramel cookies. Are we in or out on Thin Mints Krispy Kreme donuts?
I don't know, man. I never had these. Joe, you ever had these before? It sounds
haven't had
bringing back a limited edition.
I actually have never had Krispy Kreme either.
Really? Just the plain? The Krispy Kreme plain is good.
For as bad as my diet is, donuts, that's not the thing to get me. It'd be more of like a if breakfast things were to get me, it'd be like a breakfast sandwich.
Okay.
Is where I would go.
A Thin Mint flavored breakfast sandwich.
So, like McDonald's has the pancake breakfast sandwich.
Okay.
The McGriddle.
McGriddle, yeah.
So that's where I'd head. Because donuts, there's no protein, there's no eggs. No cheese. I could eat like a million of them and
Joe
then I just feel gross.
Just protein.
Yeah, I got to hit the gym after.
Yeah, I think I'm out on that, and you know why is because I think there's enough like local donut shops in the world where they can do it better than Krispy Kreme, like doing specialty donuts better than Krispy Kreme. Like Krispy Kreme, give me just the plain old Krispy Kreme donut. Great, that's a win for me. I'll pick up some of those, but. Don't go giving it. Like, are those even all that fresh?
Probably not.
How does Krispy Kreme make a fresh donut? That's what I want to know. What's their distribution like here?
There's a ton of specialty donut shops around there. So
I got a good
that's
one
not the
there.
Niche that they should just go down. Yeah, they're plain donuts.
I got a good one,
but I've never had one
called Basic Batch out in Milford. They're good.
Oh, Milford.
They're good.
Have you been to Jean's or Oliva's, those Italian markets?
No.
And you're in Milford?
No, I'm not in Milford. I will drive the 20 minutes to Basic Batch, but I'm not in Milford.
Minutes.
I'm coming from another town to Milford.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting this, but all right. I'm out and overall on donuts.
Out on specialty donuts made by a mass-marketed company.
All right, gentlemen, we can wrap with this one tonight. French toast cream cheese is hitting shelves at Walmart. Are we in or out on French toast flavored cream cheese?
So, Sean, I got a question. Before you answer this, I've been seeing a trend on TikTok. I bet Riley could speak on it. That the Philly hot dog. Have you seen this? So they'll actually take a hot dog, and then on the inside of one of the buns, they'll actually put cream cheese. And then they'll sprinkle it on top with, ketchup, mustard, whatever, and maybe some onion string. Would you be in on a hot dog with cream cheese? Now, initially I was out, but I saw all these reviews, and everyone, it looks pretty good, and there's getting good reactions.
All right, give me a brick, once again, that I can put in my belly. So I love hot dogs with all kinds of crap all over them. All right, give me some sauerkraut. Give me a chili cheese dog. Which, how is that all that much different? You're just using cream cheese instead of cheese with chili, right? So, yeah, I am in on that idea. That sounds great. So, wait, so we're going from this Philly dog to a cream cheese that is flavored like French toast?
The sweet and savory could work there.
Yeah, I could see it. I don't use cream cheese on a lot of stuff. It's the hour, not the company. I was up editing Crack Rear View very early this morning, but yeah, no, I could go for that. I can get down with that.
Have you had Coney Island before?
Coney Island dog?
Hot dogs? Yeah. How many do you think? Joe and I were discussing this. How many do you think you could take down? And comfortably. I'm not talking like you in an eating contest. You, me, and Joe were at the ball game. They would bring us as many hot dogs as you wanted. How many do you think you could take down?
I could do a half dozen easily, and just
okay. So we were saying 10. So I think 10? You could be right next to us at 10.
Well, yeah, no. I mean, I used to do like hot dog safari. I went to a couple times, and I would get up around, 7 or 8 hot dogs and just be like, all right, I've sampled all the vendors here.
Yeah, all right.
I'm good. I'm going to go move on to the other thing. There was a chain around here called Spike's Junkyard Dogs. It was a good beefy hot dog, and they'd have it on like a French roll, so it was like thicker and bigger. So the roll was more of a challenge than the dog was. But if you had to put down 6 to get have your picture taken and get the free T-shirt and get your picture on the wall. So I did the 6 once just to say that I did it. But it was crazy. It was like they had these Spikes. They had one in Alston. They had one in Boston.
Are they gone?
Yeah, they're all gone.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say that sounds good. I've never seen one.
I went to the dogs. You could all get the dogs made different ways. They're very, very.
Was it like a Subway for hot dogs type thing? Like they bring it down and you have a bunch of options what you could put on it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was different specialty dogs, or you could just get make a dog the way that you want to make the dog. So yeah, I did the 6. I wound up on the wall, but the people who were the record holders did 20-something dogs or something.
That's gross.
I was just like, oh man.
Coney Island's a smaller dog though.
Yeah, I could have my way with some Coney dogs. I feel I use 6 as an example of just I'm 6 pieces of food are going in, and past that it's just I don't know. Anything could happen, but that's where I'm comfortable. How about you?
No, yeah, I think the real question is how many burgers do you think you could put down before?
Well, it depends what kind of burgers, right? If it's just talking a regular quarter pound burger, I don't know. I'd never challenged myself with burgers.
I have a good one for you.
Yeah.
What if how in the McFlurry cup, if you were eating a McFlurry endlessly, so you didn't get to see how much you were eating, it would just automatically keep being refilled the whole time.
Bottomless McFlurry.
Mm-hmm. How many McFlurries do you think you would eat before you would stop? And you couldn't tell how. Yeah, so you couldn't tell how. Yeah, I was thinking I might go through 3 McFlurries before I'm I'm content.
Yeah,
and then I'd be disgusted to see that I actually ate 3 McFlurries worth of ice cream.
Yeah, because I don't know, from ice cream, I love ice cream. Ice cream might be my all-time favorite thing. just period. Oh, of food. Yeah, I would do like 2 pints of Ben & Jerry's.
What's your favorite flavor of ice cream in general?
Oh. All right, so for your classics, right? I love coffee. I love strawberry. I love, like maybe if you're getting a little more jazzy, some mint chocolate chip. Purple Cow. Peppermint stick. Love a sherbet.
Oh, a sherbet.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. I said sherbet. You said sherbet.
Which one is it? I don't know.
I think I've looked this up. It could be both.
Orange sherbet or
orange, watermelon, all good. Rainbow.
Do you like dipped cones?
Sure. I mean, I like cones are good. I like the crunch as part of the experience, but it's not a deal breaker if it's not in a cone.
What would be your Dairy Queen order?
Butterfinger Blizzard.
Oh yeah, you did tell me that. Oh, I love a Butterfinger. That's like an underrated candy that no one really talks about.
Really? You sure? I mean, they had Bart Simpson as a spokesperson. How did this happen?
I'm just talking about Dairy Queen. I don't see people order that Blizzard.
Really? I don't know. I thought it was good. It's right up there. It's one of their go-to candies, and I figured everybody did Butterfinger.
Maybe. Skaz, have you had a Butterfinger Blizzard? I know you can't eat that stuff, but
no.
No Butterfinger Blizzards. We're just two chuckleheads up here just talking about all the food that we've eaten. Skaz is just like, all right, yeah. When are we going to hit that headline?
Oh, we got a break to get to before that headline, so don't you worry.
Wow.
Welcome to the night show. We'll do a break, a headline, a break, and then we'll do some Live Free or Rye. You mentioned the Cracked Review podcast. Riley says some music questions for Sean Sylver.
Nice. This will be great. I can't wait to chop it up with someone literally half my age on music and sensibilities.
Are you 38, Sean?
Actually, I'm more than that. I'm 43. I'm Joe's age, right? Or
yes,
you're younger than
Joe? I think Joe may have just turned 44, but yeah, in that ballpark,
yeah.
I think.
Right around there. So, yeah, no, this will be fun. This will be fun. And yeah, I see some calls waiting too. We're not going to take them at this point. We're too far behind, right? Or should we? Okay, I got the no on that. We're going to break. Hey, we're going to fit it all in tonight on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Get 10% off your complete roof replacement. Visit eastcoastmetalroofing.com.
Zolak and Bertrand get you through the midday. Joe Murray gets you right through the night.
I actually spoke with women today.
On the Sports Hub.
You know, Riley, I was up in New Hampshire a couple of times last year.
Where at?
I visited 2 family theme parks. Can you guess which ones?
Canopy Lake.
No.
There's no way. It's not Canopy Lake?
No.
Okay, Water Country?
No.
Funtown Splashtown?
No.
Oh my gosh, I'm 0 for 3.
Riley.
I don't think I can name. Storyland.
There you go.
Okay.
What's the other one that's about an hour north of Storyland?
Is it in North Conway?
Jingle bells, Santa's Village.
Santa's Village. Oh, I always forget about those two.
Took the kids to Santa's Village in November, so like it was decorated for Christmas. Well, I mean, it's probably always decorated for Christmas, but it was very nice. And we did Storyland in the summer. It was
that's awesome.
Small, like not too crazy.
Mm-hmm. It's not like Canopy.
Yeah. I haven't been to Canopy since like my 8th grade field trip.
Have you been to Funtown Splashtown?
No, I don't even know what that is.
I low-key think it's better than Canopy. It's half a water park and it's half an amusement park.
Oh,
but it's I'm pretty sure it's bigger than Canopy. I might be wrong on that, but I know their water park's bigger.
More water features than Canopy.
Yeah.
Maybe the Sylver family's next trip to New Hampshire, right there.
Funtown Splashdown.
So you can have a lot of fun up in the Granite State. I mean, that was like. So I'm a Cape Codder naturally. Not naturally. I mean, I was born on Cape Cod. I guess that makes me a Cape Codder naturally. I'm a native Cape Codder, I guess is what I want to say. And my parents are too. So, like, the bridge is, like, very much like a psychological barrier.
To Cape Cod?
To, like, leaving Cape
Cod. So I've only been, like, once.
We barely, we hardly ever left and went to the other side of the bridge. But, like, the big family trip when I was a kid, we'd go up to New Hampshire.
Oh, okay.
Do some leaf peeping, maybe go to Storyland. Good time. So I have fond memories of New Hampshire. Used to keep all the travel brochures you could get at the rest stop or whatever. Mm-hmm. I knew more about New Hampshire stuff. All right, so we're doing it here. We're doing, what do we call this? Live Free or Rye.
Yeah, it's just when we bring Riley in studio. Live
I love
Free or
this.
Rye.
I'm a fast fan of Riley's. Obviously, I've seen her on the socials and all the good stuff that you guys have been doing over the summer here. But yeah, always like to get to know the people who are coming in to help us out over the summer. So let's do it here.
Yeah, so I tasked Riley last time. We had Alex Barth in. She came up with Patriots draft and, pretty much football-related questions.
Sounds very Barthy.
You mentioned the Crack to Review podcast earlier, your new endeavor, which you should be plugging more, I should say. Joe Murray constantly plugging.
Really?
Boston has entered the chat.
Okay. I mean, I don't want to run afoul of anybody around here. I mean it's my indie podcast.
Yeah.
The theme is... back in the day, if you opened a magazine, which, yes, those were things.
I still read magazines.
You still read magazines?
Oh, yes, of course.
Well, that's probably some old school New Hampshire ethic in you or something.
Probably.
Granite State or Daniel Webster. But, you open a magazine and there would be this ad splashed across 2 pages and it would say, you could get 10 CDs for a penny. And it was the thing, like if you were a kid in the 90s or 80s even, and you saw that ad, you would just be like, oh my gosh, I can get all this music for a penny? Like, how do I do that? So that's the thing. We go back. I found all these classic ads. We get a different guest each week. We pick our 10 CDs. We talk about what it meant to us. The musical conversation is universal. We've all heard this stuff. It's just what do you like and what do you don't like? That's Cracked Rear View. This is what we're doing today. We're doing what? Songs that we love and songs that we hate.
So with Country Roads being played nonstop with the U.S. men's national team and Oasis Wonderwall being played for England, and we're still stuck listening to Sweet Caroline, I figured I would task Riley with songs from the 70s to about 2014 when Sean Sylver's life started to really pick up, and he didn't introduce himself to any new music, so we didn't want to task him with anything
we stopped right there.
He may be unfamiliar with. So Riley has come up with, I believe, we'll say 10-ish songs.
Okay.
That 10 she would like to never hear again, a la, Country Roads. I'm fine with that, never hearing that again. Sweet Caroline, I'm fine never hearing that again. And then 10 songs she thinks it may be time has not been so kind to and we need to hear more of.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I'm a big fan of like, let's go and listen to this thing that we should have listened to more.
Yeah.
There's so many gems out there that just they get rolled over. All right, let's get into this.
Okay. For songs that I would be okay never hearing again, I'm going to start off with something that most people probably wouldn't think I would say because I'm a really big Taylor Swift fan.
Okay.
I say I'm not a Swiftie, but I kind of am. But to start this off, Shake It Off by Taylor Swift, banned. I played 1989, the album that song was on. Skip it every time.
Shake It Off.
Skip. I just can't.
1,000%.
Overplayed.
With you. My
can't
children
do it.
love it because they're children. Just done with that song.
It's just too overplayed. Once it gets played more than 10 times on the radio, I'm like, done. Get it off.
Cosign.
Yeah. Okay. Don't Stop Believing by Journey. Is that a bad pick by me?
No.
It bothers me.
No. So tough because that Journey Greatest Hits CD is just so loaded. Like, that's a powerhouse band. I've seen them in concert several times. It's a classic song. I heard it the other day, and it had been like maybe a year or something since I heard it, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But I need breaks.
Yes, I agree.
I'm with you on that.
That's why I put it on the list.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston. There's just something about that high note that it irks me sometimes. I just don't want to hear it.
Ooh, she said Whitney irked her.
This is the first out for me on the list.
Now, is it overplayed? Yes. Is it also an all-time great song?
I mean, yeah.
Yes. And we can't Whitney slander.
You gotta pick a side though.
It's tough to
like
listen
imagine
to
having
slander.
to listen to that almost every day. You would get so sick.
Are we talking about
yeah,
like that?
Yes.
That's an iconic note. I mean, this is your list, okay? But I disagree.
Okay. I'm one of the biggest oh my gosh. I'm one of the biggest Adele. I wouldn't say haters, but like not a fan. I'm not that big of a fan of Adele. My college roommates have tried to get me on her. They blast her in the car all the time. Rolling in the Deep, another one that just doesn't do it for me, and I don't think I ever need to listen to that ever again.
Overplayed, but not as much as some other Adele songs.
Okay. I just
like Someone Like You,
like.
overplayed.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Someone Like You, more overplayed.
Okay, Take Me to Church by Hosier. Is that how you say his name? Hosier?
Yeah, Hosier.
Hosier.
I would agree with that one, I think.
I love him. But
Yeah.
yeah, that I think most of these I just don't like them because they've been played so much.
Doesn't bother me that much. I think I was kind of starting to exit pop radio a little bit when that came out, so it doesn't have a terribly negative effect on me. But I can get it.
Yeah, they play it a lot on pop radio.
The Sean Sylver radio background, there is some music in there, no?
What's that?
Did you work for a music station?
No, I mean, I did community radio and college radio where I had like music shows, but I never worked on commercial radio.
Was there a song that, was ruined for you during that process?
No, not really. Because these stations, it's just they were like DJs would pick, whatever.
Well, okay. So
Right.
I remember like one of my first jobs was working in a Bob stores, like the old footwear. I worked in footwear, and it would just like I never wanted to hear like Maroon 5 or like Snow Patrol again because I had to hear them all day, nonstop.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I've never worked a job like that either. I was always either self-employed as like a landscaper where I could listen to whatever I want, or I worked in settings where there wasn't a radio on, so I would either have like my own headphones or like a Walkman or listening to like on the computer speakers.
That Walkman would skip too, Riley, if you were moving too much.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I've never used
really?
one, but I know what it is. I know what it is.
At the Walkman, the Discman. All right, let's keep it going.
So we stuck Street Team Joe to work in the side room. I think he would chop my head off if he heard me say this one because you weren't in there earlier, but he was blasting some Lord over there, and
Royals?
he was yeah.
Is that the one?
Yeah, he wasn't playing that one. But I'm assuming since he has Lord in his playlist, he probably likes Royals just a little bit. So
I like Team.
I don't.
That's a good one.
I think every song by her is great. I just can't listen to that one.
Yeah,
anymore.
Royals was totally overplayed around 2014. Yeah.
Yep. And then another one at the same time, which Street Team Joe also disagreed with, was Chandelier by Sia.
Oh, I love that one. I love that song. It's another one, like powerhouse singer. Like, yeah, I can't hate on Sia. Again, overplayed, but
It's just I'm I work at a summer camp, which I know we were just talking about.
Okay.
There's a very small list of songs you can play that aren't inappropriate because we can't do swears, we can't talk about alcohol, nothing. So I hear these songs on replay over and over. Like the amount of times I've heard "Baby" by Justin Bieber, it's like, oh my goodness, I should have put that on the list. But I do like that song.
I'm thinking about this now. Like sometimes I take my kids to the trampoline park.
It's
and
probably the same
got to get the
songs.
energy pumping, right? So you have a selected playlist. I hear some stuff and I'm like, should that really be, Yeah, okay.
Time After Time by Cyndi Lauper.
Oh, all-time banger. Come on. That's one of my favorite albums of all time. She's So Unusual. Dope.
I knew this would be the one.
I can't stand that song. I can't for the life of me. That's probably like one of my least favorite on the list.
Beautiful song.
Ooh. No. Ooh. Okay. The last two you might not know much about because they're 2013, 2014.
Okay.
All About That Bass by Meghan Trainor.
Scrap it. Cape Cod Girl. Cape Cod
Really?
Girl, Meghan Trainor.
She's from Cape Cod?
She's from Nantucket, I think.
Wow.
But yeah.
Oh, no. By Katy Perry.
Yeah, too much.
Too much.
Katy
Yep.
Perry, a lot of stuff too much. Like Teenage Dream, awesome song.
Yeah.
So overplayed. Ugh.
I don't know.
Unfortunate. Time
Okay.
After Time is the hard disagree, though.
I'm sorry.
Skaz was right.
Those were my 10.
Skaz knows me.
I feel like that was a pretty decent 10, though.
Yeah, totally. It's a great 10. I mean, there were very few where there was there was only one where there was a huge problem here.
I can understand.
It's Cindy.
Okay.
She's royalty.
Songs that are not played enough, in my opinion. And some of these, or most of these are like well-played songs, but I think that they should be brought back and played more. No Diggity by Blackstreet featuring Dr. Dre.
Overplayed.
Really?
Yeah.
Is he going to disagree with my whole list, Skaz? You've seen it.
We're going to find out.
I was alive in 1996 when that song came out.
I wasn't.
Well,
So it's
see,
like
there's the difference,
there's the time difference.
But
yeah.
I also was born the year that Time After Time came out, and that has been a part of my entire life, and I still can't get enough of it. I need more Time After Time, Skaz. All right, what do we got next?
Rich Girl by Daryl Hall and John Oates.
Oh, that's great. Love
Great
Hall and
song.
Oates. Yeah.
Play more of that.
Yeah. You can rely on your old man's money.
Fire song.
Yep.
Okay. Fooled Around and Fell in Love by Elvin Bishop.
Oh, so
play it more.
Dude, the singer on that is Mickey Thomas, who's with Starship. You know, we can build this dream together.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Saw him at Kowloon's 75th last year.
Oh, really?
Yes, it was great.
That's such a good
Hanging out
song.
with Joe and yeah, good time.
It's gotten really popular on TikTok. That's where I'm finding a lot of these like old songs that I don't know about.
Fooled Around and Fall in Love also featured in the movie The Family Stone. Christmas movie.
Never heard of that
It's
before.
a good one.
Yeah.
It's a good one. I would suggest it. There's a Wilson in that. Maybe both Wilsons. Maybe only one. I forget. It's good.
This happens almost every time I come on. There's a movie, there's a book, there's a show. I've
We're
never
all
heard
learning
of it
from each
before.
other. You're teaching me. You know,
Yeah.
I'm giving a little back.
Two Princes by the Spin Doctors.
Oh, yeah.
Boom.
Play more.
Yep.
Play more Spin Doctors
100%.
in general. Yep.
100%.
Yep.
Okay. This one is in general.
Big cracked review band there. Yes.
Anything by Jimmy Buffett. Just anything by Jimmy Buffett.
Love Jimmy Buffett.
No specific song.
Margaritaville, great song, overplayed.
Don't hate on Margaritaville.
Overplayed.
It's overplayed.
No.
Also, old white people going, salt, salt.
That's my favorite thing to do.
Out on that.
Out.
No.
Miley, you're too young
That's
to be
my
yelling
favorite
salt.
thing to do.
You're way too young to be yelling salt.
No, I do it every time.
You're too young to be yelling salt.
Okay, Jesse's Girl by Rick Springfield. I feel like that's the most popular one on my list.
Yeah.
Appropriately played. I just saw Rick Springfield. He opened for Sammy Hagar at the Xfinity Center
that's
last
nice.
week. So
Okay.
yeah, he was 75 and
How's Sammy
performing
doing?
with his shirt off.
How's Sammy?
Sammy was great. He's going out one last time on the road with the ashes of Van Halen, and
There you go.
They did well. They did well. It was a nice night. Had fun.
Okay, got 4 left.
Yeah.
Semi-Charmed Kinda Life by Third Eye Blind.
Banger. That's a submission for the greatest album of all time.
Yep.
Third Eye Blind debut album. I totally with that.
Yeah.
More Third Eye Blind.
I love that song.
Good on you for these picks.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah, Two Princes and Semi-Charmed Kinda Life kind of sound the same too. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Some people say that.
Similar tempo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Take It Easy by the Eagles.
I feel like that's appropriate.
That's been played enough. That's.
But I think you guys don't understand because I'm like.
It's not Hotel California level, but it's. I feel like that's probably number 2 or 3.
That was the first song I taught myself on guitar.
Oh, really?
Because it was very easy. I'm not a guitar player. I remember learning it, and that was like the first song in the book. Was "Take It Easy," standing on a corner in Winslow, Arizona. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
If I had like 15 more years on me, I bet you I'd agree with you.
Probably,
but it's just I haven't heard it that much.
Listen to a lot more classic rock and like adult alternative radio. Yeah,
we're on the end of the different ends of spectrum. So I listen to country, and you listen, not to country. Okay.
Touche.
Drift Away by Uncle Kracker.
Overplayed.
Oh no.
Oh,
overplayed.
I
hold
love
on.
that song.
Oh yeah. Well, and it's that song was that. Here's the problem. It was originally Dobie Gray recorded that song in the 70s.
Exactly.
The original Drift Away guy, and then Uncle Kracker redid it, but it's the exact same song. So except with like some crappy electronic stuff put into it, and Uncle Kracker in general.
I love that song. Such a great song.
Dobie Gray, yes. Uncle Kracker, out.
Okay, this is the one song you're probably not going to know. Are you like a theater nerd in any way, shape, or form?
No, but I appreciate theater nerds.
Okay, I'm a big theater nerd. Derek, the other intern, I don't know if you've met him. He's also a big theater nerd. So they got 2 theater nerds on the show this summer.
Okay, nice.
Wait For It from Hamilton.
Oh, yeah, it's a great song.
Oh, so you do know it?
I mean, I've seen Hamilton.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
I went to PPAC, saw it in Providence.
Yeah, I feel like if that song wasn't in Hamilton and someone just released it as a single, it would have gone, it totally would have gone viral.
Yeah.
And I think it needs to be played more because people who aren't theater nerds don't know what it is sometimes.
I'm with you on a lot of these. And it is rare. I'm a very agreeable person overall, but I feel like with music, it's a very passionate subject for me.
Yeah.
It's rare, particularly with overplayed songs, that can be very touchy for people. I feel like we agreed on the majority of these things.
Yeah, if you could have one song you would never ever hear again, what would it be off the top of the dome?
Oh, man.
Am I going to stump you on that one? It's a hard question because I had 10, so I don't know if I can narrow it down.
I don't know. It might have been one of the ones you picked. Let's just go Sweet Caroline to make it easy.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't understand the hate.
Great
for
song
Sweet
until
Caroline
Fenway
from
Park
both of
ruined
you.
it.
Until you find out who he wrote it about, too.
Well,
it's not my favorite.
Yeah, but, there's a lot of musicians who, are
questionable
have problems,
decision making.
Did he write it about someone bad?
Someone.
Should I look it up?
A little younger than him, I'll say that.
Oh, no.
Yeah, well, either way, though, I have no problem saying, I appreciate some of Neil Diamond's songs. I kind of like some of Neil Diamond's songs. And when Fenway started playing that in, 2000 or 99, I forget when exactly it was. There's an article out there about it. They added it to the playlist at Fenway, and I was just like, oh, that's cute. That's fine. But after 25 plus years of doing this, I'm done, man. I think everybody's done. Who is still hanging on for Sweet Caroline at Fenway?
I mean, I like it, but I'm also only 19, so I haven't gotten my fair share.
She's only 19, but
Sweet
her
Caroline.
mind is old, folks.
Too young for salt.
No, salt. I love saying that.
Everyone turns off the radio all at the same time. Riley, it's been fun meeting you.
Yeah.
Fun hanging with you. We'll do it again sometime this summer, not on a Friday.
Nope, not on a Friday. I have work, sadly.
Yeah, no, you do your thing. You
Yeah.
do your thing. All right.
Mhm.
All right. Good lists.
Thank you.
Good
I
lists.
worked very hard on it.
Thank you for working hard. Thank you for your contribution to the show tonight.
Of course.
What do we call this segment?
Live free or
Live
rye.
free or rye. I was gonna say Granite
You got it.
State of Rye. What?
That's a good name too, kinda. Both of them are good.
Instead of Granite State of Mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what we got?
We'll see what happens here. We'll go to break and maybe we'll come back. Who knows?
Maybe. Thanks for listening.
Sports Hub headlines.
All right. U.S. Soccer 4.